out where the rivers run beneath the endless sky, with a pack on my back and dreams that never die, chasing shadows of gold in the mountains so steep, a heart full of fire, a promise I'll keep. We're digging for a fortune, let the adventure unfold, with a swing of our picks we're striking it bold. Laughter in the air, we're wild and we're free, chasing all our dreams where the treasure will be. Down in the canyon, the sun beating down. With each step we take, we're shaking this ground. The laughter's our currency, the grit in our hands, in this wild, rugged land we remaking our stands. We're digging for a fortune, let the adventure unfold, with a swing of our picks we're striking it bold. Laughter in the air, we're wild and we're free, chasing all our dreams where the treasure will be. Hear that clink of the picks echoes through the night, with a spirit of gold we're ready to fight. The thrill of the hunt with every heartbeat, no map to our dreams but we'll never retreat. We're digging for a fortune, let the adventure unfold, with a swing of our picks we're striking it bold. Laughter in the air, we're wild and we're free, chasing all our dreams where the treasure will be.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Digging Deeper podcast. I'm your host, Big Red, aka Jaron Colnane. Hey, what do you think about that, Dave? You got your mic muted. You got your mic muted, brother. You got your mic muted. You got your, hey, you have your mic muted. There it is.
Oh, what? No?
Yeah, you had your mic muted. I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. Every once in a while, my crew bought me these glasses because I make these Macho Man Randy Savage imitations at work, you know, talking like him. And so every once in a while I put it on and go down to the floor and try to make them laugh. Sometimes they laugh. Most times they tell me to go back upstairs.
That's freaking hilarious. I love the old Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. And it's funny, Dave, that you actually brought that up, because my older brother's name is Randy. And so he used to do that whole impression, and I did Hulk Hogan. Of course, he'd whoop my ass every single time we wrestled. But, yeah, it was fun stuff. But anyways, welcome back, everybody. It's been a long time coming. But we're actually back on the groove here. So we got Dave back in. So, Dave, man, how the hell have you been? It looks like you guys have been just jumping from planet to planet, heaps and bounds, man. What do you got going on in your neck of the woods, brother?
I'm trying to figure out when I'm not going to have something going on, you know, and it's been a big stretch this year for me and my brother and in the business. You know, we went from, I think it was, okay, we had 2 full-time employees last year and 1 part-time employee. Now we got 6 full-time employees and a part-time employee.
Jeez.
And it's just, but that's good. And it's been helping me and Tim not pull our hairs out, but it always takes time to ramp people up, but we got a good crew. We got good people. We actually even made like employment decisions like early off, you know, how they say is how they, what's that one person say? You know, yeah, let them go early if they don't work. We actually had a guy come in, didn't work, let him go early, and we didn't suffer with it. So we've made some good employment decisions, and we got local people that are just, we got a good employment base in our area. Kind of like Spokane. You're in Spokane. We're in the Flathead. We got enough people where you don't have to suffer. There's places that it's hard to find employees. In we're living in Montana, so we got that notch up because we're more rural and people have a different attitude. But anyway,
the guys over in I was going to say the guys over in
metropolitan area and have to deal with demographics, and it's hard.
The guys in your neck of the woods are hardworking individuals who will really kick ass and take names. I mean, living in Spokane, I've been here 33 years, and it's a hit or a miss. You know what I mean?
It's so big. I remember when you could tell Coeur d'Alene from all the little towns above it. Yeah. And now it's just there's no stop between Coeur d'Alene and Hayden. And you go, and it's like, when does it stop and when does it start? We still got the stop and start between Whitefish and Columbia Falls and stuff like that. But anyways, forget talking about work. Here we are talking about work. Everybody's wondering, when are we going to talk about something like Dream Man or something? And we're sitting, me and you are talking about work. Okay.
I get genuinely excited to hear how you're doing, just because when we first met versus where we're at now in life.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy, man.
Oh my gosh.
It's just
back when we had time to go prospecting, Jaron.
Yeah, seriously.
Remember those
days?
It's like a lifetime I had far long ago.
I remember when you hit me up to do that commercial. I'll never forget that. That was one of the most exciting feelings. Like, hey man, we're gonna be doing this commercial. We're gonna be on the creek, yada yada yada. And
we're sitting there trying to think, we're thinking to ourselves, this is gonna look dumb. This is gonna be dumb. And it turned out awesome.
It did.
It was just like,
masterpiece.
Wow.
Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah,
it turned out to be an absolute masterpiece, and it was a ton of fun.
We had a guy from, that makes money just making when reels were first coming out about that time, and he'd just take pictures on beaches and sunsets, and he'd do all this and he was working for, before they called it Meta then. I don't remember what it was, Facebook.
Oh, and it was, but that was still way before Meta.
Content for them for fillers, so they would have stuff, and he was getting paid to go all around and make commercials and sunsets and little things and templates for people that make their stuff. And he saw our commercial, and he goes, man, I've seen a lot of organic commercials in my times, and he goes, but that one was out of the park. And
it really was.
I was sitting there thinking, wow, man, this guy's like seeking me out to give me a compliment about my commercial. And I was just like, I thought that was pretty fun. But it was one of those things. Lightning struck. Yeah. I don't know if we'll ever get to strike like that again. That'll be pretty hard.
You might. I mean, the fact that you were able to use drones to get those extra shots that normally back in the day would take helicopters, and and you were just like, yeah, we need those aerial footage. And that aerial footage, honestly, is what really tied it all together. When you saw us running down the creek away from the initial scene, that was like full
trying to run on that creek was like a death challenge because the rocks are slippery, and you're thinking, oh, we'll just run. Well, you can't run in the creek. It's like, what do you do,
Especially with muck boots on. Like, it's one thing if you had some tennis shoes or barefoot, but muck boots.
So behind the scenes, guys, I'm like, all right, Jaron, this is the shot. You got to do this. You got to get up and run. And he goes, I'll try. Get up and run. I'll try. And it took 5 tries, and then he fell and hurt himself. And he says, we either got it, Dave, or we don't, because I'm not going to kill myself for this shot. And I said, well, hopefully we got it.
He said, run like somebody's going to kill you. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
But it was a good time.
No, that was a ton of fun.
We're survived Black Friday. Actually, yesterday we finally got all of our Black Friday out the door. That's much
good.
We had Black Friday emptied we had 2 weeks before Black Friday we had an inventory meeting, but even before that, a month before, we had making sure we're ordering stuff. But in the week before inventory meeting, and we were good. We were spades, everything, and we're like, not a problem. And then we had to put stuff on pre-order because it's sold out.
That's crazy.
And we're like, how?
That is absolutely insane.
There's not that many people out there. And it was crazy. And so we got all our Black Friday out. So it was a great blessing. We had a great Black Friday. We had to, of course, call all our suppliers and Zoom stuff in so that we could back bill, and all that stuff is supposed to show up tomorrow, but it's actually going to show up Saturday, but then we'll be good to go. But just the response.
Yeah, the amount of promotion,
amazing.
The amount of promotion in a good way, like all of the advertisements that I've seen with what you guys got going on, it's not like cut and paste. Like you guys really have a lot of thought into like the snow globes with the mats inside of it with the gold swirl. Dude, like first off, nobody ever really gives you credit for those kind of small little tiny features. But at the end of the day, being able to perfect what you're selling in like the product sells itself, right? But when you add those extra little things to really get people into that true holiday spirit or the true Black Friday shopping, like that in itself, I feel like sells a lot of it. You know what I mean? Because people are excited.
I worry sometimes that people think we're over advertising. And the reason was because we hired this guy that loved our product, but he was an outside agency, and he was like, right away when my brother wanted to hire him, I said, we can't afford this guy. Tim goes, we got to try him. I go, okay, we'll try him, but I'll probably pull the plug. And Tim goes, we got to try him. He's a great guy. And he was awesome. And yep, he was too expensive. And his ad stuff was like what you're saying. Even though he did all like the weird internet stuff behind the scenes so people could see us, the ad stuff was pretty flat.
Yeah.
And then his boy is watching us, and he's got a book business, and he's a physical therapist. He goes to people's houses and helps with sport injuries. He kind of like used to run a lot of marathons and stuff when he was younger. So he's always on the move.
Right.
And he got tired of going to everybody's houses and having to make like hour-long trips to go to these rich people's houses. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with rich person, sorry. But I mean, these guys' houses that are
people that are well off.
Yeah. Their houses, and his days were just so long. And he's got, a new kid at home, another one on the way, and he's watching what we're doing. And he came to us and said, I can do that for you guys in-house. And we're like, okay, well, sit down and watch with us and learn what you can. And we'll do a case study, meaning copy and steal everything, meaning like doing something understand how the industry works. We're not taking anybody's proprietary information.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's understand how it works.
R&D.
Learn from this guy.
Yeah, R&D.
And then Nate hit the ground running. And so he's here every day, all day, meaning all day, every day. If he isn't here, you get these little like super professional notifications. I'm working out of office today. Little thing comes in on your phone. Give me a call if you need anything, or let me know this is what I'm working on. The kid is just like, he's a phenom, and he sits next to me and he does all this marketing stuff. And him and Tim mostly do a lot of the marketing. They drag me in every once in a while, but him and Tim kind of really know what's going on with the marketing and the sales. I hate to say it. I hate sales. Because I just feel like I don't want to be the one telling me how much less money I'm going to make. Sales. I'm just teasing. So I just let them do it. Because they're all about sales. They get excited about it. I don't want to be the wet blanket. So they take care of it. And some of the ads, every once in a while, I'm at home and I see an ad and I text Nate late at night and I go, I just saw your ad. That was really cool. I'm working on that one. And I'm like going, and this kid is making us like Super Bowl freaking, halftime show stuff going on. And I worry sometimes that's too much, but all I keep sitting there thinking is he's having fun. He costs way less. Nate can't hear this. Nate can't watch this video if he has. Costs us way less than the other guy does. And our return on ad spends and all that kind of stuff behind the scene, we don't want to talk about that. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, all of your guys' ads, like I said, a lot of, you have so many folks that purchase your products, Dave, and they say, yeah, the sluice is working great, or the mats, are working really good, or this high, but nobody really sees the inner workings of all of the ads. In the, like, graphic designing is such a beast in itself. And when I jumped on your website today, I was like, yeah, you know what? I haven't been on Prospector's Dream for a while, so I'm going to jump on there. And you guys got the snow globes with the gold shimmer inside the snow globes with the mats. And I'm like, dude, that is like night and day difference from when I first met you on how that website looked then compared to how it looks now. Is a night and day difference. And I got to give you.
Sometimes I like go to some sites like Cabela's, and I'm teasing. I'm making a joke here. They're pretty good big outfit, but we sell through them. But places
He's
I
like,
go
"Oh,
shop at, places
just in
I
case
go
Cabela's,
to,
I'm making a joke here."
reloading stuff and whatnot. And I look at their websites and I know what I'm thinking. Dude, you guys need to pick it up a little.
Yep.
I just tease him because Nate's so awesome. But anyways, besides
Yep.
Nate being, it is great. He's in-house, he's family. And actually just today, because Nate, he doesn't get out prospecting much. And he's been out with me on a couple of times. I take him out. I force him to come out and use stuff with me. Close. We did a trip in Libby. Hey, there's the man. I see.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm still trying to get all this stuff working here.
We're a little rusty.
I haven't touched any of this stuff since we last did a show, so I'm trying.
You're not spooled up. You ain't got the turbocharger on your motor turned on yet. Your belt isn't going,
He's rusty. That's exactly it. Yep.
But I was watching this.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We were this young guy in
cool.
California prospecting, and I sent the email to Nate and I said, I need to send you to go prospecting with this kid because you're just like this guy, can climb over the mountain in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I need to set my people up that are doing stuff for me in-house and send them out there and get them in the field, because everything that he'll do out there will be huge. Help him understand the product more and pay huge dividends back. And even when I took him prospecting a couple times, I was like, I'm explaining stuff to him, and you could tell he's like, he appreciates it. He goes, man, now I understand. And so it helps him, with our website design and everything like that. Yep, that's cool stuff. You're the man. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, like I said, man. I just, with 5 kids, it's just been a crazy whirlwind of ups, downs, lefts, rights, stepping back.
I was pointing to this guy over here, Jaron. See how the finger goes?
You're pointing at me.
Okay. When on my screen, it looks like I'm pointing the arrow.
This stuff
or
again?
on the other screen, I don't.
Yeah.
How are we displayed? I gotta figure
Are
it
we
out.
doing this stuff? Old farts. I love
goddamn
absolute
kids.
Oh, geez Louise. No, it's like I was saying, it's been crazy.
So how's everybody doing?
They're doing good. Hey, Arrow, if you want to give some shout outs, there's a bunch of folks in here tonight. I'd love to give them a shout out if you want.
Your feed's
Oh yeah, I'm still working all that stuff out. My computer's being slow. I'm sure it has something to do with the weather and my location. It doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't seem to matter what service we get, or fiber or whatever. No one can get a signal that doesn't drop out.
Well, folks, I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast.
Whatever.
Welcome back. Like I said, it's nothing but fun every time we do the podcast. I really was nervous jumping back on after being off for so long, but being able to see these awesome guys here, that's what makes it worth it. And it's a ton of fun seeing everybody over here in the comments. Tina says he was sleeping. Yeah. Yes, he probably was. But let's do a quick shout out, Dave. Let's do a quick shout out here. So let's rock and roll from the top here. We got Arrowhead Lee in the building from YouTube. What's up, brother? David Vila. We got Alan Barnett. Rob, one of our own in the building. Tina in the building. Mama Tina. Let's see here. We got Mr. Don Wen in the building. Jason Goodlin. I hope I said that right. It looks like I said it right. Who else? We got Cliff Summer. We got Other Level Race. What's up, brother, man? I didn't actually talk to you. Oh, no. That's Stephen Bertrand. So you have almost the same name as a good friend of mine that actually just moved down to California. That's funny. We got Prairie Prospecting in the building. Evergreen Prospectors. You guys have been loyal as hell. Love the hell out of you guys. We got Joseph Bossy, Mr. Bossy in the building. He
Mr. Bigfoot.
Went to our group dig back east a while back. That was a ton of fun. Mr. Cottonwood Trails. That
Christina's
was I was just talking about. Huh?
Christina's in. I see her feeds all the time on Facebook and on the groups.
Yep. Clinton Cartwright. We got we got a bunch of people in the building. Hasbulla 989. Okay. Good to see you, brother, man. But yeah, excuse me. We got CJ Hayes in the building. What's up, brother, man? Mr. Adrian Pincus. I appreciate y'all jumping on. We have a lot to talk about, especially with Dave. Dave has been jumping mounds and leaps and breaking boundaries and doing things that we only talked about him wanting to do many years ago. And now he's actually breaking ground and just creating this new frontier for actual facts, knowledge, and science behind the mat. So, so we got a lot to talk about, a lot of fun stuff. And then a little bit later in the podcast, we'll start talking about, we got the Christmas giveaway coming up. That's next week, next Thursday. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the podcast. We have a bunch of fun stuff to talk about. Anyways, back to you, Mr. Dave, the man of the hour. So let's talk about this elephant in the room here, okay? Because you knew that I was going to talk about the elephant in the room. Juan Ibarra. How the hell did that remotely just start working itself out
that's Bob Back. Bob Back is my minor buddy. He's the older guy that goes with me to the shows. Arrow, and of course you, Jaron, have met him. And Bob has been in mining up in Alaska, Yukon, everywhere these gold rush people do for 52 years. And Bob, I like telling the story, but I don't know if I tell it right. But if someone wants to correct me out there, they can. Bob was working at a mine up in the Yukon, and Juan's first mining job was working on that mine that season. And so Bob and Juan met, and so his first actual mine working job was working at a mine where Bob was at. Bob was running to clean up rooms and stuff like that. So they met each other and they became friends. And so they have that friendship. And then Bob, I hook up with him because he's trying to use my mats in commercial applications. And Bob knows, Dave, Turn and Freddie Dodge, and he knows a lot of these guys. He's worked with them. He's worked with them on projects, and they've worked on same places that these other guys have. And he was, before I even met him, was giving references to Raw or whatever the network is.
Yeah, Raw TV.
What network it is for that Bob. That
Raw TV.
Juan uses. I don't know for sure, but for mines, okay. Bob is in his later years, he couldn't mine as much, but he was consulting and helping people. So he was a consultant. So here in the lower 48 and around, he'd go places. He's even been to South America. People would call him, and he'd go to Arizona or something, and they'd help set up a wash plant or a crusher or something, jigs, whatever. And he'd show up, and a lot of times it's like the real life thing. They couldn't afford anything, and Bob would give their advice, and this is what you need to do. They couldn't afford it, and Bob would say, "Well, by the way, Raw's looking for places to come down and do shows for," and so he has given Raw these locations because these people in Raw's used them, and they've been on. So they have a good working relationship. It's just the business. To them, it's just mining. To us, it's gold, and it's amazing. And you look at it, it's like I'm one of the guys. I hate to say this because I'm not like, I don't got the, what do you call it? I don't got the fever, like the weird fever. I guess there's good fevers and bad fevers. Anyways, the weird fever. Where
it's all
I gotta touch
fever.
the gold. I don't have to lick it. You know what I'm saying? But see, what we just see little bits. Are prospectors. We just see small amounts. We go out. We get 3-4 grams in a pan. We're like freaking doing the dance, man. We're like, we're happening, man. We're like,
you see Stephen Bertrand, right?
And we're like, holy cow, we're doing it.
That's our boy Stephen Bertrand. Shout out to you, brother.
Mine locations, and I'm looking at the gold and the mats and everything, and I'm looking at them, and I think this is what they're thinking is, I wonder if he's weird. I wonder if he's gonna touch it. I'm sitting there looking at the gold, and I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at the gold, and I'm like, good Lord, look at all this gold. To them, it's just gold. It's just like, it's like, how can it be just gold? But anyway, right. So Bob is this miner. He's a miner. He goes, and he mined this last season on one of his claims, and they pulled off,
So did he reach out to you? How did you meet Bob?
Bob
That's
bought
the golden question.
an industrial mat from Australia because it said industrial dream mat, and he bought it to try it. But it was really meant for like 1/4-inch classify to replace seagrass, and it was supposed to be like industrial, but for like all these black sand and all these operations that crush and really small classify. So he gets the mat, he's running it, it isn't working quite well for him, and he's talking to the guy in Australia, and the guy in Australia goes, where are you in the United States? He goes, I'm in Montana. He goes, buddy, the guy who did dream mat's just right above you. Call him and talk to him. So I called, talked to Bob. I figure out what he's doing and say, well, the dredge mats would work a lot better. That's not meant for that. And so I give him a dredge mat, and he absolutely loves it. And from then on, it was just like me and Bob's relationship was just awesome.
That's awesome.
And he started basically using because the mat was solving problems for him. And the mat was actually getting him in trouble because he was seeing recovery rates with it that he couldn't get
otherwise. Yeah.
So we had a big wash plant that was like 150 some yards an hour and had these huge long runs, and it was producing almost sometimes not quite like
150 yards an hour,
17 buckets of cons per day cleaning up.
I'm sorry to cut you off. 150 yards per hour?
Yeah. So
shit.
Up in Gold City in by Drummond in Montana. So anyway,
Wow.
so he's just like 3 hours away from me, and sometimes it's producing like 17 buckets of concentrates. 17 buckets, 5-gallon buckets a day.
Yeah,
Bob
5-gallon buckets.
to clean up. So he's trying to cut the cons, and they were running all the cons through a jig, but that was taking forever. And if you know anything about jigs, it's like it does a great job. It cuts it, but there's a lot of work into it. So a lot of these tools, there's just a lot of work into it. And so he wasn't able to keep up with the concentrates. So we tried the dream mats and we run some tests, and we cut 17 buckets into less than 5.
Holy shit.
And we increased the gold recovery at that setup by 30%.
Dang.
By the artist.
Anything over like 15% is still a dramatic increase.
And so we were
30%.
In
that is
situation.
crazy.
It was mostly all fine gold. But that situation, every situation, everybody's dirt, and every situation is different. So, but a lot of it is because they're running large amounts of yardage. So the more yardage you run, the longer you run, the more your system loads up and the more migration you get with like a miner's moss. If you run for a really short time, you can catch everything. But if you run for a long, long time, your system starts loading up. And what do you do with it? And so you got to maintain it. That means you got to clean it up. And so and when you clean up, you produce all those cons. So that's how I met Bob. And then he started, and I just let Bob go. It was one of those things where the guy had so much experience. My first year meeting Bob, all I was doing was asking him questions like, well, how do they do it in the mining? Speak Minese to me, because I'm a prospector and an inventor. I don't speak, I called it Minese.
Right.
How do they do this? And for the first year, I think I wore him out with questions to the point like, but it was exciting. And then as more and more that we've seen the dream mats work, and Bob was getting really good results with them, we were getting in trouble. Meaning we were putting them in other applications, other places up in Alaska and the Yukon and places, and
right.
They're getting good results, and we're getting in trouble. And then I basically wanted to do a test. Getting back to Juan, sorry guys, everybody out there. Man. The rabbit trail is long. The many words on the trail with Dave down. I'm just teasing. So I called Juan and talked to him a couple times because I asked Bob for his number, and Bob knew him. And I kind of said, I'd really love to do a test like this. But I really need somebody that I know Bob's got 50 years of experience. He's
but public credibility is what it's called.
Yep. And I go, I'd love to do a test. I'd love you to be a part of it. Whatever part you want to be, whatever level, and then Juan's like, buddy, I've been wanting to do this for a while. Let's do it. And then, but during his filming season, he's crazy busy. So we wanted to do it at the beginning of September, and his season kept going out and out and out. And then we ended up going down to Reno because we thought it'd be nicer weather, and it snows on us while we're down there. That's kind of funny. Anyways, so
In Nevada, it's snowing the day you show up.
No, the second day. It was the day we went out to see Juan. It was snowing. Yep. He's up a little higher and above Reno, not very far, but anyways, so I blame it on Bob's wife because she saw the weather report and said, "Hey, it's gonna be snowing up there." I go, "No, it isn't." And she goes, "Yes, it is. I saw the weather report." And I go,
"You realize you're coming from Montana, where snow is 95% of your life."
But we didn't have snow yet in Montana, and I went to Reno and got snowed on. Now, come on,
you brought it with you. You brought it with you. That's
it's
what
like you know that plow joke. You put a snow plow in the front of your truck and you drive south, and then you just wait until someone at a gas station says, "What's that?" You're far enough south. There it is. And so I drive to Reno and I get snowed on.
That's how that works. That's how that works.
So anyways, so that's and so we set up this test, and we got a geological engineer out of Helena, and he does this. He qualifies equipment, works for some pretty big outfits. I really don't know how many. I got such a bad memory, so I can't remember. But he works for a lot of nice, there's a lot of gemstone stuff. He goes in, sets up the jigs, gets them running right, shows them basically qualifies the jig, shows them that this is where it runs good at, and set the process down, and they get their recovery, and they prove the recovery. He does this for a living, basically this guy is. And so I hired him to come down and catalog the test because he's a PE and professional engineer, also licensed in Nevada also. So we're hoping to get the test certified. All the certification means is the people that were there say this was a good test and this is what we saw. And that's all it means. It doesn't mean nothing fancy, but at least it just shows that, we in the test will basically have an outline, and it'll have some graphs and charts when it gets published, and it'll really let people in on what's all happened. We just showed bits and pieces. I brought my brother Tim down to film everything and be like suck up the camera with everything, and Juan said that was okay. But the guy who was supposed to deliver the wash plant, one of the wash plants that Juan wanted to use, which was his,
believe it or not,
borrowed,
yeah,
it didn't come back in time. And so we had to scramble the first day we were there, and he had a neighbor that had a small wash plant, and we had to make it happen. And it was. And I made a joke actually when I walked into his shop. This is like mine rescue. I made a joke. And they were laughing. I'm going, but that's what I felt like it was, because we had to scramble to
figure out how to get a wash.
Juan had his crew there that works for him in his shop, and buddy, he took care of business. I mean, it was like, all right, Dave, step aside. This is what I do. Okay. And not didn't say it like that, but just his attitude and just his demeanor.
His demeanor. Yeah.
It's like, if I was standing in the way, just like move out of the way. Okay, all right.
Get out of the way. Let me do my thing.
And then he's like, well, we gotta stop, guys, because my wife is bringing out this awesome lunch. And the guy not only took care of us, but he fed us like kings, and he took, and he's making sure he got pop coffee, and all this sort of stuff. And I'm telling you, man, this guy was he was awesome. Anyways, so we said it. We
Dave was a little kid in the candy store. I know he was. When he got there, he was.
Juan was so great. I was stressed because I kind of felt we were behind the 8 ball, but we took care of it, and then we came up the next day, and then we started testing, and the testing started a little late, but we got into it because the first rig getting everything worked out. Ran the first test with his stuff, and it worked good, and we brought stuff down into the shop, went back home, and then did the next test. And because we were cleaning up, Bob was cleaning up the whole time, some of the first night and into the second day, and getting everything, and the engineer and him sitting down and weighing out the gold and the parts and where they came out of the sluice mats, and trying to map migration and stuff like this, every so many feet of the sluice mat, counting the targets and all this sort of stuff, all that kind of letting the engineer and Bob do their job. We got out pretty late the last night, but it was quite the process to actually have a controlled test, meaning, for everybody else that's out there now to kind of let you in on this geek part of it. A lot of the reasons why Juan wanted to do the test up at his place is because he said there's no gold in the ground. Well, he goes, there's probably a couple sparkles here and there. There's no gold in the ground. So that was good. So we brought all the material to the plant and had to introduce it at certain times, and the equal times, so we had everything kind of set up. So it was a controlled test, meaning we brought in the material to put in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. And
yeah,
run,
to see
run a
where
little
it would
bit
migrate,
before,
kind of how it
rolled
acted.
in
Yeah.
in the middle, and the engineer did it and timed it. We timed the engineer. He was there to record everything: the water flow, the pitch, the flow rate, meaning like even the speed, the velocity through the box, everything, and also count the bucket loads and count the time and make sure everything was is. You can't.
Precise as
You'd have to be a robot to get. You'd have to be a robot to get any more perfect. So it's as close as it's gonna get. And so then we run the test and we do the cleanup, and there it was. And I wanted to run a lot of material, and that's what the air plant was going to do. We were with the smaller plant. All we were doing is we just condensed it a little more, and it's all going to be in the report. But it was a great test. The test was very good. We didn't feel we had any hiccups that were a showstopper or put us out of spec or anything, and we kind of felt that, it all went pretty good. And Juan built this awesome box and set stuff up, and it was a good time. And
it's pretty crazy that I am at my work and I'm on my lunch break, and I open up my phone in my truck as I'm eating lunch, and I see something test with Juan Ibarra. And out of all the people that I actually have watched with Gold Rush, with Whitewater, with all of the Discovery Channel television shows and things like that, the mine rescue, them going out and actually helping real people like me or anybody else, help them achieve greater capture rates just by redesigning the way that they have things working. That's down to earth. That's the real bee's knees of things. You know what I mean? And so I've always had a respect for Juan and Freddie, and really what they were able to accomplish.
When me and Tim walked away from this, we're like, how do we repay this guy?
Really? Seriously. Yeah.
Amazing.
I completely agree. I mean, them guys really do 100% know their stuff. And that's so back to what I was saying, when I opened up my cell phone and I saw that, I was instantly hooked. I'm like, that is one of the most absolutely awesome things I've seen for 2025. I mean, with social media and everything else going on right now, with the price of gold, price of silver, I mean, all of what I've seen in 2025.
Scrap gold. I couldn't handle it. Sorry, I'm weak.
Well, it's been such highs and such lows, right, Dave?
It was all stuff I just gave to my Bob to go send it off to refiner. It wasn't like gold, and I couldn't believe, when I had just a little over an ounce, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, I remember just a couple of years ago what an ounce was, and here I am. I'm getting.
Oh, don't let me get started. Don't let me get started with the amount of silver that I had. I was running tight for Thanksgiving 2 years ago, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go sell a little bit of silver. It'll help me pay for the extra little items I need for Thanksgiving. You know how much I sold that silver for at spot price at the time? $23. Luckily, I didn't sell it all, but I sold enough to be pissed at myself for selling any of it. So trust me, I have multiple stories. I used to have, I don't know if you guys seen way back when I first started my lives, I had a 13.5 gram gold bar that I had smelted myself. And the purity test was between, I think it was like 16K up to like 20K or something like that. It was like hitting right in between that. And back then, when I first had JJ, I was like, you know what? I might as well just go scrap it. I need the cash. Imagine 14.5 grams of gold now versus what it was selling for then. What was it, like $60 a gram? It was like $64 and some change back then at the time I sold it. And now it's, So Dave, trust me, I understand 100% with selling now versus, So, but 2025 has been crazy. It's been nuts.
I haven't sold anything. I'm still holding.
All right. Text them holding.
I'm sure there's, I was going to say, I'm sure there's a ton of folks in the in the chat right now. If you guys have held on to your gold and your silver and you haven't sold it yet, go ahead and drop a comment, and I'll pop it up on the screen here. But 2025, I do have to kind of reiterate, it's been weird. It's been wacky. It's been nuts. It's been up. It's been down. Social media with all the gold prospecting groups and mining and the laws and just like everything going on in 2025 has been nuts. I don't know, Dave, if you've been watching, kind of the laws that are, passing and things in certain states. It's just been absolutely crazy. The beginning of the year was just a super high, and then, it dropped back down to a super low. And then, now we're kind of in this end of the year in the middle, not really knowing what's going on. I mean, for us prospectors and miners, like gold and silver prices are awesome. You know what I mean? And that's amazing.
You can't get a government official to talk to you about getting any claim or any work done because of that little bitty shutdown. And now it's just going to perpetuate for the rest of the year.
So exactly what I mean.
You have to basically rope them, going into their house and drag them down to talk to them. Yep. We've been trying to get a hold of our DNRC and our Forest Service to get some claim work done.
Yeah.
Me and a buddy were doing some claim work, and we're just totally been ghosted. It's like
and that's what's crazy is like 3-4 years ago when we went over to Montana, we had zero issues. I mean, the water permit, I mean, everything was just so straightforward and so easy that it just was like a blink of an eye. Sign the dotted line, and there you go. And we had no issues. So to be able to hear that right now is crazy. But that's, like I said, bringing it back to 2025. That's what 2025 has all been about. It's basically like super highs, super lows, everything in between. And then, social media as well, all the gold prospecting groups and things like that. You see so many negative things in 2025 that it just blows my mind, because just the year before, where there was historic flooding, but there was another big boom gold rush going on, like everybody in social media was just like all positive and all through the roof and just super happy about everything going on. And then, and don't get me wrong, they still are, but it's, I'm still in social media massively when it comes to the other gold groups and the YouTube videos coming out and prospecting and things like that. But I feel like there's just been so much super highs on the roller coaster and super lows, whether it's family issues or it's Forest Service, or it's just been a crazy year.
Yep, I got teenagers. Enough said there,
yeah, it's just been a crazy year for sure. So I mean,
no, it's been pretty quiet up on the claims. We got up and did our work up at Blewett Pass, and we got cut out by the fire a little bit early, and now we're having these massive floods. Peshastin up there is the highest I've ever seen it. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, right now Western Washington is underwater basically.
2 weeks ago, we went to a creek to go walk across it to find some claim markers, and it was higher than flood stage in the spring, and this was more than 2 weeks ago. And now in that area, bridges are being taken out in the Libby area where we were at with the film.
Are you serious?
So bridges are going out.
Oh yeah,
and I thought it was just like Washington having the problems, and yet we're having them too.
Wow.
Because I saw this whole last week Snoqualmie, this whole thing about Snoqualmie ramping up, and I kept telling myself, I've been through that pass many times. There's just going to be a lot of water there.
I got a question.
We've got multiple towns that have been evacuated.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I got a question from our good buddy here, Dave and Arrow. How will the flooding in Washington affect our next season? Arrow, you want to go ahead and answer that for him?
Well, flood, big water, that means big rocks are moving. That means heavy stuff's moving, which means gold's moving. Really, it's just about what it's going to look like when we get there, especially up on Blewett Pass. We had a big fire this year, and it went. I don't know if some of you saw, some Canadian firefighters came down and were helping out, and they saw that we have a grave up on one of the bedrock claims that we maintain, or the club maintains. Nice white fence and stuff like that. And they, when they saw that, they protected it. They took down the fence and fought off an area around it. And then when the fire was out, they went and put the fence back and took a picture. And we sent them cards and stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
Big gold, it could
You
go
know,
both
but-
ways. It's kind of like saying, when big water moves, one or two things are going to happen. Either you're going to bury it under a ton of overburden, or it's going to strip it clean. There's only two things that can happen.
Yeah.
Either you're gonna expose it or you're gonna bury it. One of the two. It just depends on how it pushes through.
Yeah. And
well, we're
different
up
creeks
there,
and
the
things like
bedrock's
that.
shallow, so I'm sure
We got
a lot of
canyon
it'll
that
blow over,
we got a
but
canyon at a claim, and everything's kind of like what you guys got. The bedrock shallow and stuff. In this big log jam. They called it a beaver dam, but it was just a log jam, like miles up the creek, busted loose. And all this material came down, stacked in front of this canyon, where you're standing on 12 foot, 13 foot of just overburden. And the canyon used to be like 30 foot deep, and you could walk through it and barely get up to your crotch. And this canyon is like a football field long, but it's like at the most 20 yards wide, but it's just filled with overburden. And it's going to take years to blow all that out. But so it just depends, because sometimes, if you don't have a crazy event, stack up a bunch of stuff. Like sometimes you can have a big landslide come in because of the fires, and it fill it up. Confederate Gulch in Montana is the biggest famous gold rush in Montana. That's our Montana gold rush. Like the 49ers had theirs, but Confederate Gulch was ours. Doc Holliday and all those people were up at Silver City.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
And first time I went up Confederate Gulch years ago hunting, I didn't know it was a gold area because I was a kid, but I went up there with Bob, and they're mining up there, and I'm looking at the creek and going, that creek looks really good. He goes, there ain't no gold there. I'm like, what do you mean there's no gold there? There's got to be gold there. He goes, dude, that creek, where the gold was when they were doing it, he goes, is like 30, 40 feet underneath all that overburden. And I'm looking at trees, and I'm going, look at the trees. He goes, no. He goes, in the 80s, they had the fires, and this all filled up. He goes, it's going to take thousands of years before that gold's back again. And you start to realize, and you look at things like a miner does or a geologist, and I'm neither. I'm a prospector and inventor, but I'm looking at this stuff and I'm going, these guys know their stuff, man. And you start listening to them and figure out what's going on. And there's a lot to read in the ground and understanding what's going on. And it's crazy that how Mother Nature can strip a creek bed or fill it up faster than we can imagine, And but usually a lot of people are excited when the water is moving fast because they're for good reasons. Usually,
oh yeah. Well, we got a few more questions here for everybody watching. If you guys have any questions for Dave or for Errol or even myself, drop some comments in real quick. We'll go ahead and do some Q&A. I myself have a couple more juicy questions for Dave, but before I get to those juicy questions, we'll do it all. There you go. I've learned this after about 30 episodes. I've learned this
the other direction, huh?
Yes, I figured it out.
You're almost on frozen, Arrow. You're starting to move at almost a real speed. You're kind of glitching, though.
He really is, though. He is actually starting to get better. Yeah, that is hilarious. One of the comments here is from Cliff Summer. I met one of your teams in Ohio, Dave. Mr. Cliff Summer off of Facebook.
My teenager, yes, he ran wild there at Gold Rush days and didn't get in any trouble, I hope. At least at this point, I don't know about it yet, but he seemed to be a good kid at that outing. And there were people saying he was a good kid, so it was surprising.
He looks up to you, that's for sure. He looks up to you. Let's see here. Kid. Mark Forbush, man, Allen, wet and soggy here. One town is underwater up by the border. Sumas, holy crap.
Yep.
That is insane. Jeez Louise. Let's see here. We got a few others.
Christina's got a good question. Look at that one. She wants me to be honest. Be honest.
She says, be honest. Does Dream Mat actually find more gold, or does it just hypnotize the gold into crawling uphill?
What? There's little water.
I don't know. Have you stood there and stared at the box and then an hour went by?
Oh my god.
Oh, I love it, Krista. That was an absolutely great question. There's a very good possibility. In fact, I have not found anybody that actually did a time-lapse video on their sluice using the Dream Mat. So realistically and technically, that could be a possibility. I don't think any prospector has ever actually caught that on film, though. So let's see here. Life of a gold prospector. He says, good question. Oh, that is too funny. Let's see here. She got one more. At what point do I earn my official Dream Mat badge? After my first spec or after I stop flipping my pan upside down on camera? You earn it when you find the creek that works for you. Because I don't know how many times I have flipped my pan upside down on claims that I actually bought and found no gold. I mean, we found gold in the first couple of days, which was pretty promising. But
so I got earning Dream Mat stuff is got a long history of making fun of me with the unicorn in the stuff like that. Where at my Christmas party this year, my crew gave me a journal to write down all my engineering thoughts in and capture all these big thoughts I have, because I tease them every once in a while. They ask me, what are you doing today, Dave? And I go, maybe I'll try and think of some big thoughts and capture them. So they gave me this journal, and it's got a unicorn mane on it, and it's fuzzy, and I can comb it. It's got a comb. It's got all these little markers, and it's pink. And so yeah, so when you when you love Dream Mat so much that you don't mind the unicorn, then you got the official thing going.
It's for those stressful days when you can pet the journal.
You know, I don't have it. I should actually, if I was, is it downstairs? Yeah, it's downstairs. Darn it. If it was up here, I'd show it to you guys and embarrass myself, but it's pretty funny.
we got a few more shout outs to give here. It looks like everybody little late on jumping in the podcast, but we got let's see here.
Thanks,
I got
Tina.
3 screens rocking and rolling here, so just give me a sec here. Christopher Lee McQuilkin. Hey brother, man, I actually follow you. Good to have you in the building, man. And then I forgot to give you a shout out earlier. Life of a Gold Prospector, man. It definitely is good to have you in the building for sure. Yeah, and then Tina said, I just saw it. The Dream Mat rocks. And
she's been
then
a Dream Mat supporter for a long time. There's a lot of people's names on here I recognize. Yep.
oh yeah, they're good folks, man. I mean, if you got a product that works, that's literally all that matters. That's the
We got
reality of
coffee
it.
cups. We got gear now in our
she says,
coffee cups, shirts, stuff like that.
Hold on.
You can buy them in Dream Mat. Yep.
She said, post the coffee cup. Oh, you're gonna kill me with that one. I'm gonna do it right now,
You
just
got a
because.
different one? Did you get a crazy cup?
No, your cup, you dork.
Okay, the one that
Your
I got-
cup. Hold on. I just saw it today too. So you have the enamel mug, red and green. It says dope. It says I can't see because the screen is so small. Department of Prospecting Efficiency.
Yeah, we thought that was going to really stick for a long time when Elon was doing that Doge thing, and we called it the Department of So it kind of fizzled, you know. Elon,
I
didn't
still
hold
love
that
it.
for us, but you know,
Still
tried.
badass. You got the Bigfoot Sluice coffee mug. You got Capture Your Dreams coffee mug. Yeah, you need to get your butt over there and check out prospectorsdream.com. They got some awesome stuff. They got some hats. They got shirts, sweaters. I mean, they got the bee's knees of what you need. I really love that Bigfoot Sluice boarding hoodie that you have, Dave. You need to send me one of those. I'd love to rock one of them.
Okay, all right.
I'd
We'll
love
get you
to.
one.
Because I was right next to him when he was doing that. So it's only fair that I get one of those damn hoodies.
Yep.
That was a ton of fun. But anyways, so back to what I was saying earlier with my questions. So aside from what you were rocking with Juan Ibarra and things like that, I know a little bit earlier on you started rocking and rolling with Cabela's, which was a huge feat. I mean, that is just absolutely badass. The logistics, SKU numbers, the product inventory, the placement. I mean, I worked.
Well, me and Tim tried to get in Cabela's forever, and
Yeah.
it got to the point where, you know, I told Tim wanted to do a lot more when Tim was trying to take on more, and Tim was doing marketing, outside sales, and kind of like distributor stuff when Tim was doing it. And I eventually took on other distributors, but Tim was doing some stuff. I looked at him and said, get in Cabela's. I go, you want to impress me, get in Cabela's. And he took care of it. He got hooked up with Cabela's, got talking to the people, got the deal going, and then they sent us this big old pile of paperwork. And one day I was talking to Tim. I go, what's your problem? Why can't we get into Cabela's? He goes, I just don't understand this stuff. And my brother Tim will never ask for help because he's just a proud guy. He goes, you might have to help me, big brain. But I'm like going, okay. So I grabbed pale paper work thinking, okay, he's just overwhelmed. He just doesn't understand it. I look at all the paperwork and he goes, what do you think of that paperwork? And he goes, can your son help us with this? Handed him it. And Nate came in before he was working for us. And Nate, that's how we kind of knew Nate needed to be we were begging him for about a year to come work for us. His son came in, took care of it all online, did all the paperwork, set up the software, set up the integration systems. We couldn't get none of it done. And he came in and he just basically cut our meat, and put it in our mouth and chewed it for us. The whole thing, Yeah. Wiped our butts for us,
So
and he got us in, and it's like, then we like Nate, like, come work for us. And it was amazing how when you got these
you should have had that. You should have had his son working for you from the get-go. If he is able to accomplish what he was able to accomplish with that deal.
He was doing very well with his stuff, and he was happy at that time. But then the traveling just got ahead of it, overwhelmed. But now he works for us. So now he's a cat. He's a prisoner. No, I'm just teasing. But well, he is amazing. He does. He runs our whole website. I picked the inventory system. He helps us work it. It's amazing the things that he does. It's just crazy. But
so my other two big questions, that wasn't one of them.
Sorry. That's how we got into Cabela's. That's Nate did. Basically, that's got us in there.
And I was curious. Yeah, I was curious with the Cabela's because once I saw that going rocking and rolling, it blew my mind.
It was like reading government paperwork that you knew nothing about. It was so complicated.
Well, and the crazy thing is that kind of work. Well, the crazy thing is too is when someone goes into a store, when you go into a Cabela's, you go into a Walmart, you go into any store at all. 95% of people, and this is an actual case study, 95% of people don't even realize that everything that's at the front of the store has been pre-calculated and actually figured out to catch people's attention quicker. That's why you have your fruit in the back right, typically. That's why you have your food in the back right, typically. You have your merchandise in the back. All of it's pre-calculated. And
now, see, you can't sound smart with that beard. You don't just look, like that kind of like that techie guy. You're more redneck thing going on there. So I'm kind of wondering how this is working out.
But it blows my mind because the vast majority of folks don't realize that that's how grocery stores, that's how all those stores are set up. And so to be able to see that picture that you took with your product on an end cap, which for those that don't know, an end cap is basically you have your rows in a store, but at the very end, you have products as well. And to be able to see that you had your product on an end cap was actually pretty impressive because a lot of the times what happens is products get put right next to other products on a aisle. And so to be able to see that at that Cabela's that you have an end cap feature for your product primarily to stand out was extremely impressive.
We have Cabela's, when it started taking off, we didn't know how big it was going to get. And I don't want to brag because I just feel so that I'm just so blessed and thankful. I don't want to brag, but we had to hire a gal because Nate couldn't get his marketing done, taking care of Cabela's, and Tim didn't want to do it. We had to hire a gal, and that's her job, is shipping all day, packing and shipping Cabela's full time.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine.
Oh my gosh, what a blessing! What a blessing!
I'd imagine.
It's just amazing. It melts my mind sometimes. If you would have told me I would be where I'm at 4 years ago when we were talking, Jaron, I would have laughed at your face. I'd have said, whatever, you're nuts. And I think a lot of it is because it's just good team. We got Nate, me and Tim work hard. We show up to work every day. I know people think we don't because we're owners. We must be all screwed around, right?
We're here. And that's the reality of it is if you have what's called a dream team, and I'm not even bullshitting you, if you have a dream team of people that genuinely believe in you, believe in the product, believe in everything about it, every bone in their body, that's considered a dream team, and you go extremely far. If
Let's
you
talk
have
about sluices and stuff instead of my.
so that
business.
was so hold on. So that was one of my
How blessed
questions.
I am.
That was one of my questions,
Good
Mr.
job.
Dave.
You should have, Arrow. You should have took care of them. You should just get like on the side. You'll send them a
Yo.
little message that hey, talk about
So
Here,
my number one.
I'm gonna reach over. You grab and strangle.
All right. Okay, is it this way or is it this way?
Yeah, no, you had it right. Okay, you just screwed it up. Damn it.
All right.
Okay.
Anyways, I tried.
Yeah.
I tried to be funny.
yeah,
I laugh at my jokes.
There we go. There, that. That's the around the royal hold.
Help me, folks. Help me, please. So the first question I wanted to ask you: what is your number one best-selling product? The product that absolutely flies out, and I'm not saying like the most expensive or the most cheap, the most sold product that you have today.
Okay, for the small products, this is a prospecting buddy. Those things, there's just rows of them, rows and rows and rows of them, and I look at them, it's like, and then I catch them. I go down on the floor, and everything that was all rowed up is in boxes, and then the next day there's a whole set of rows of them again. It's just nuts. They just fly out the door because I think they fly out the door. This is why they fly out the door. And Tim, my brother, he uses these big words. He predicted it. He goes, this is way too fun. This product is way too fun. Everybody's going to love it. And it is. That product is just about fun. It's not serious. It's not weird. We don't have to hurt anybody's feelings. All we got to do is have fun. People like having fun, and it's affordable. Affordable fun. There it is. So that's why it sells. The bigger product is our 6x42 power sluices. Those things, having two 6x16 mats in a sluice with a power head on it, that when you're doing a cleanup or power sluicing, that you could just pull the mat out, boom, throw it in a pan and have a little bit of cons and see it happening, nothing stacked on top of each other. I don't even want to tell you how many of those. We have whole sections in the shop dedicated to pre-assembling and assembling so many of those a day and getting them on the racks. And
assembly
we
line,
always keep telling ourselves, we will fill up the rack and there will be a day where we won't run shy and we'll have some left over for tomorrow. Doesn't happen. And it's just like, I don't understand it. Cause I remember when we first started, you sell a few mats and you pay the bills and the wheel gets greased and you're excited that you didn't go broke that day. And now the problems are where the guys come to me and say, you ordered that stuff, right? It's coming in on time because we're almost out. And it's like, how can we be out? We just got that stuff in. And we have computer software warning us, hey, better order this. We have the compound cards, all the business stuff, and it never fails. It seems like it's like a train. You can hear it. It's like, starts out slow. Now it's just like thing is just going down the track. And I want to say this, to be honest, gold's up. Praise the Lord. Gold's up. So it's a great business. And I just hope that when gold goes down, that, stuff don't drop off. Two things, but
Dave's like, we just got to make sure.
Our business, this is one thing that I'm proud of. This is my brother, Tim. This is for Tim. This is his toot for Tim. We've done this out of pocket. And Tim is super ultra conservative, and he sees these things, and he's all like, we want to build our business so it can go up and down and survive, and he's awesome. He sees things that I don't see. In as a brother, also as a person, and as a previous business person, the guy seems to make all the right financial decisions. And his wife, she does accounting and stuff like that. She does our accounting for us. So, they're all about that. They make good decisions. So it's always great to have that team member. All right, more sluice stuff. Forget about business. Okay, so sluices sell. And then the big thing that is the best seller, I don't know if I really call it the big thing, is we just ship cube trays out of here like candy. It's amazing.
I've actually got to use one, so let me.
And Mike makes a great product. and we get them from him. We stuff a dream mat in it, and it disappears.
I
And
got to use one in Montana, and it blew my mind, honestly, because I was extremely hesitant because I had Casey, Arrow's good friend, and a good friend of mine actually build me a custom sluice and put the mats in. And I was using my own thing. I had my own setup. It worked extremely well. Had no issues with it. And then Fred Messimer, hit me up and I was like, yeah, you can tag along, man. We're going out to the claims in Montana, yada, yada, yada. He brings out, it's like a monstrous 5-stack gold cube with these mats in it. And he starts setting up his little pump and all that good stuff with a battery and all this. And I'm like, I was super hesitant on using the thing. I'm not going to lie.
The most exciting thing I've seen with the cube, here's the Dave's, is mining again. Now I go up to Nome and I go meet Vernon from Gold Rush, and I meet Chris Kelly, and I meet Alex and Emily up there in the Bering Sea, and they're doing these cleanups. And so, but they're mining, so they got lots of gold.
Yeah.
So what they do is they got the top tray of the gold cube, they got the micromat on it, and they just scoop all this dirt on there, or the cleanup, 6-7 buckets, however many they get from their dredge. And they're just scooping the material on there, and they're just waiting for the mat to cheese out and turn totally yellow, because the gold is heavy and it pushes out all the black sands. And this mat turns yellow. They know they're passing stuff off. They take the mat, it's just sitting there on the top tray, and they actually have a little rock underneath it that's just stopping it from sliding down. And they pull the mat out, and there's a guy sitting next to him with a pan on a bucket. Flop into his pan, clean it out in the water, and they put it back in. They start running more material. And the guy next to him in the pan, like when we pan, what do? We got dirt and a little bit of gold. So we're doing all this swishy stuff and trying to get the gold to come to the top.
He says swishy stuff.
It's almost like, I want to say it, after watching these guys, I felt retarded. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. That's a word that's going around on the internet nowadays because of some people, but I shouldn't have said it. I felt.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Silly.
We all wear a
I
heart on a
grew up in the
sleeve.
80s. I'm sorry, guys. All right. Anyways, so these guys, this guy grabs his pan and he just starts shaking it and kind of spinning it a little bit, like back and forth spin, and keeping it level and just shaking it. And I'm just watching. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? You got a pan, show me your mojo. You guys have pan like ounces of gold. Come on. And he's just, and I'm watching what he's doing. And all he's doing is trying to get the light dirt on one side of the pan to rise up and the heavy dirt on the other side. Because the gold's so heavy, it's just caking down.
Right.
And all he's doing is pushing the light stuff up. And he takes his sucker bottle and he's sucking off the black stuff. Just a little bit of black stuff. He's just trying to keep shaking that pan until the more black stuff comes off. And then he sets that pan down. And about that time, there's another flopping one coming to him. And that's how they're doing the cleanups. And I'm like going, oh my gosh, you guys are doing reverse pans. And he's all going, oh yeah, this is the way it's done. He goes, I got the shaker table in the shed. I don't even fire that up no more. And I got the center wave table over here and I don't use that. He goes, we just do this because when you pack that mat out, it forces all the black sands out, and I got what I need right there. And then I go, well, what do you do with what's left over in the one camp? Well, they rerun it again. Vern does. They rerun it. Well, they did.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
For the first time on his boat, they reran it again. The Kellys, he looked at it and said, "For the next run, we're not losing it." And he goes, "At the end of the year, we'll clean it up." Because I'm like, so I looked at him, because I'm thinking prospector, not thinking miner, and I'm thinking why, and he's all like, because it isn't worth my time to go after a little bit and have to be a prospector like you and take all that time when I could just mine and just get the gold.
Yeah, get what I need to get out. Yeah.
And I looked at him, I go, time is money. Time is money. And it ain't going nowhere. So
when you're running that much material, time is money.
Well, what the heck? And I was like, these guys are pretty dang smart. And I was like, wow, I go, we need to hang out with these guys more often. But see, of course,
just don't go to the bar with them. Don't go to the bar with them, Dave.
I'm one of those guys that wish they had a gold mine. I'm just a wannabe.
This guy, get out of here. This guy, you're working on some projects.
These mine. Oh man, I tell you what, I see these gold at these mine. Bob was teasing me one day. So Bob was teasing me, and I'm like, hey, I saw, I got done that, we got running done that day. We had a whole bunch of gold at the top of the mat. Like, did you take a picture? He goes, no. He's got a flip phone. And I go, take a picture for me, Bob. He goes, I'll try to remember. So then he calls me about a week later and goes, "Hey, you know, I thought about you the other day. The sun was setting. There's all this gold in the mat. It was just the sun was hitting it. It all looked really pretty. It was just great. We had probably about, I forget how many ounces he said he had in it. And I go, you got a picture, right? And he goes, no, I forgot then too. So, but anyways, I just called to tell you that there was a lot of gold in the mat.
What an ass.
God! And it was like the next day he took a picture though. But it's kind of funny because they're used to seeing it.
Yeah.
And it's just work to them.
Yeah.
And then, I sit there and I look at it and it's like, I wonder if they're going to think it's weird if I touch it.
The big amount. I got a few questions from the comment section here that actually is asking quite a bit about different placements and things like that. We'll start with Christopher. He says, I need to order dream mats for my 4-stack gold cube. Which ones do you guys recommend for the 4-stack cube? Christmas present to myself.
I would do the micro second gen on top, and then I would do micro dredge, and then the mini on the bottom. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. Sometimes we invent products that kind of set other products aside. The micro dredge is going to work just as good, or probably better than the Cape D mat. And the Cape D will work really good with sands, but when it gets a lot of gravels, it has some issues. But see, you know what the problem is? I'm the guy who invented it and designed the mat, and I think this style should work. And yet I got probably about 400 or 500 people. They absolutely love the Cape D and everything, and they think it's the best mat ever. So it really is your dirt and what works for you, that whole saying. But if it was me, I would go with the second gen, 2 micro dredges, micro second gen, 2 micro dredges, and the mini on the bottom. Yep, that's how I would run.
All right, we got another one here. Let's see. Jason says, and I don't know if this is too vague, but he says, next I want to put it in my high banker, but what would be best, both first and long tom? So first mat up top next to the crash box, and then long tom as far as
how much
down.
What some people are high banking and they're really cutting the flow and they're super classifying and they're running just sand off it. I would run like the micro dredge and then like the or mini dredge in the dredge mat.
Yeah.
But if you're like high banking and you're putting a lot of water through it and you're classifying to like 3/8 or whatnot, dredge mat's going to get you there all day. You just run dredge mat through the whole thing. You're just going to, that's a lot of people. The dredge mat, just so everybody knows and hears it from the man, when we came out with the dredge mat, it was one of those things where we saw the accumulation of a lot of things that we've learned through the whole dream mat journey and applied to this mat. And even though it was on a bigger scale, which was the same scale as the regular vortex mat, and we're using it in the mining operations, these mining operations guys are catching sick fine golds. I mean, it's just like, it's amazing. And even in the dredges, they're catching this crazy fine gold. It requires a lot more water because those larger operations use water. So that's why we got the micro dredge and the mini dredge. Those mats, we're going to be coming out this spring with new combo mats that are going to have the second gen micro dredge, mini dredge will be the new combo mats. And also we're going to have beach mats that come out with the micro dredge and the mini dredge. In this micro dredge and the mini dredge, as far as sluicing fast in a stream or in a high banker and still catching fine sick gold, we're going to be we kind of led up to it this fall, and released some micro dredge stuff with the cleanup buddy to kind of just prime the pump, a little pump. It's a little toy. But this micro dredge pattern, we're hoping other people see what we see. That's what we're hoping. If other people see what we see, they're going to be happy. That's what we're hoping. And so in the community is the only judge of that, how they run it, what the report comes back, how they operate it. But we've had it out there for a year, and it started like when we first put it out there, people weren't quite running it right, the testers, and they're like, I don't know about this. And so we put a pause, and then now all of a sudden they rush back like right at the end going, this thing is great, man. Oh my gosh, I've been trying this.
Figured out how to run it right. Awesome. Yeah.
And it's like, So we hope that you guys see what we see, in the product. And you love it, because we're not creating product for the sake of product. That's for sure. We want people to experience like someone said earlier in that comment, how good, be honest, Dave, how good is Dream Mat collection? We're really trying to help people with, I go visit them. Like when I drove out in the micro dredge mat, a lot of what we did, the micro dredge, the second gen, was the first set of the solution of going out and visiting Martin on the beaches in Lake Superior and looking at what the products are doing. And then we made the second gen. We made a quick correction. Boom. We took the Dream Mat Micro. We made that quick correction, and it was, oh my gosh, it was amazing. And it was all about meeting with people, solving problems, seeing what they're seeing, really seeing real world working conditions. And then, but through that, the time, and I'm going to give him a lot of credit, Martin digs deep. His mind doesn't seem to want to stop. And it's almost like you just got to say, enough, even me, enough talk about mats for today. Let's go have a beer because my brain is full. And Martin, he digs deep into why things work the way they do. And he is, in a lot of ways, that trip is really, these things are responsible to realizing that if we could bring that dredge mat and everything he's describing the problem into a micro dredge and make it work, boy, we would have a winner.
Oh yeah, big time.
Over a year for that for us to do that, and a lot of it was Martin. This is how good of a customer he is. He called me and go, "So you're working on that, aren't you?" And I was like, "Well, I've been working on some other stuff." Well, you knew to get busy and get working on that because I really need that because I need to go catch some more gold, and I know you're going to work on it because we talked about it, and I need it. So here's this guy. He called me, like every month, and he'd be like, "You know why I'm calling you?" It's like, "Yeah. Have you been working on that?" "Haven't touched it since we last talked." He goes, "Buddy, you need to get off your butt and get on that." But in a good way because he's a great guy. But it's kind of funny. It's like you realize people want these problems solved so they can catch more gold. And is everything going to be perfect? No, nothing's ever perfect. But we're trying.
Well, and to come up with what you were saying, I believe you were speaking about Martin Tuckbaum.
Tuckbaum. Yep.
Tuckbaum.
Yeah.
We got a comment here from Mr. Raymond, one of our good PB members.
I know Raymond.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a great dude. He supported PB since the birth of it 3-4 years ago. He says, Christopher Lee McQuilkin, you should reach out to Martin. He's mastered the art of placing dream mats in his gold cube. He's done some pretty cool modifications to the cube as well.
We have to lie. Me and Martin have to lie. I'm teasing you. This is how I want people to hear this. This is how good Martin is at catching gold with the gold cube. We have to lie and downplay it. Because if we told people what he was doing, this is what they'd say. Bull crap. Bull crap. That's what they would do. Because
so he's like, so I gotta lie.
I make the mats and put them in the cube, but I don't got Lake Superior right there. So I don't have that opportunity. I'm looking at what he's doing and I'm like going, "You're the man." And he's all like, "But I need more, Dave. I need more." And I'm like, "Are you not satisfied?" And he goes, "I need more."
Jim over at Cottonwood Gold Trail says, Martin is great. Love having him come to camp. He's a
great guy.
Let's see here. We got a few more actually. Mr. Jason Goodland says, how does it handle clay as finding a layer of it before bedrock?
There's so many different types of clays, and the reality is if you're running clay in whatever the water speed is, if that clay starts to settle and pack or slime or pack in, there ain't much you can do in any system. So it's all about trying to figure out how to get the gold to liberate. And some clays got slippery water, some clays don't. Managing clay is if you can keep it from clogging up your system and get that gold to liberate, you're gonna win. But with clay, if you slow down enough for uber fine gold, there isn't much out there.
You're gonna back out fast.
Yeah, it's a catch-22.
Yep. We got another one here from Mr. Jim Harpold. He says, has anyone ever tried using silicone, with a dream mat design?
Okay, the mercury has an definitive to gold. It bonds. It's amalgamates. It is something that we can see and measure and look at. Aluminum does not. It galls at a mechanical level. It is this gold's atomic twin. I'm getting really geeky on you guys. I used to work the old. You
just called me a non-geek because of my beard, and then you're gonna get geeky.
Well,
here we go.
You gotta do something with some glasses.
Let me just take this off real quick.
You can probably get some really goofy glasses that make that beard look geeky or something. but you're just not making it.
Or
you know,
just cut
you're
it
not
off.
getting
Yeah.
there. But, you know, I used to work with the semiconductor industry, and we do everything on a nanoscale and talk about all this crazy physics. And they live in this real world of where things work and they don't. And you learn from these people what you can do. In silicone, does not have an infinitive to gold. It is a little bit more catchier, or you would say has the ability to
More grip.
its durometer it's not the silicone chemical agent, but its durometer is softer, and you're using whether it was silicone or another exact agent, that same durometer in its ability to catch the edge of that a flake and hold it. There is some pluses there, but it isn't sticky. It feels kind of sticky because this is if it was sticky, it would stick to everything. It can't just let everything fly off it and only catch gold. It doesn't have an definitive. Silicone rubber, you know, as far as like chalkboard on a miller table, chalkboard catches flat gold for a reason because it has that ability for the flatness of it and this roughness to catch those little edges of the flat gold, but the round stuff will still roll off. And silicone is kind of doing the same thing. It's catching some things, but the reality is that if your profile isn't intelligent and it's silicone and it's a dumb profile, you're probably going to have a hard time catching gold. Now, if you have a smart profile, like he says with DreamHat, how much better would it do? And we have a pretty good durometer with our rubber and the urethane, and it's catching pretty good. But one of the things that I use to judge what you're talking about is we made a thermoform. And we sat around the room with a lot of people talking about stuff like this. And the synopsis from a lot of people was the thermoform will be too hard. And it won't catch the gold. And it'll blow everything out because it's too hard and fast. And the rubber, we need the rubber thing. And then I made the thermoform, went down to some fine gold collection, and it worked better than the rubber one. Why is that? And it was all about surface tension on the secondary boundary layer of that harder surface and how it acted. In the silicone, in a lot of ways, I look at it like a wear factor and a manufacturing factor and an issue. If I could produce a silicone mat for the same price as a urethane mat, I would put out one. But to produce a silicone mat would cost so much, and the benefit would be not enough for me to jump to it. And it isn't gonna in the fine gold collection. Actually, I believe in the harder product would outperform that softer silicone product. Until the only way I could prove this is if for some reason I took the time and I got really intrigued and I did a clone of silicone and a clone of harder and a clone of our material and ran independent hard tests, same conditions, same gold and everything, and looked at them underneath the microscope, so to speak. And I just haven't done that yet. So, but at the end of the day, silicone could win, but I haven't done that test yet. But my thinking is I don't think it's going to win enough to warrant how hard it is to manufacture a silicone mat and the cost of material and the stretchiness and all that stuff. So it's kind of one of those things where I'd have to really be intrigued with seeing something that I haven't seen yet. So I'm still on the fence. I got my opinions. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I don't know.
Oh, you're always wrong. What are we talking about?
I never said I was been wrong before. I didn't say
always
that.
Wrong. You're always wrong. Everybody just says you're right. We got some more here. Mr. Paul Schreiber, why do you have to make a better combo mat? That's always my go-to. Just leave the damn thing alone.
I tell you what, the combo mat has plagued me. The combo mat works so great. It does.
Leave the damn thing alone, Dave.
And you know what? I get people that tell me these stories on what they're doing. And what I really like about the combo mat, because it's got 3 different profiles, everybody's wondering, what kind of mat should I use? And if they're in a range of the combo, I always say the combo, because then they're going to know if a person, I'm not saying do this. Don't do this. Don't let this person talk right now. Anyways, I'm teasing. All right, make sure you're quiet. I would buy the combo mat, and I said, well, really it's the micro mat that works the best for me, or the mini. And why did I buy the combo mat? And if they complained, I'd say, okay, I'll just send you a mini, and you can send me the other one back. But I wouldn't do that, But I'm just saying, it lets you see what really is working for you. But the problem with our combo mat is, and because I'm the worst car salesman. If you came to me, I'd tell you everything that's wrong with the car. I'd never sell it. Oh my gosh. I tried selling a boat for 9 months and couldn't sell the damn boat because I told everybody what was wrong with it. Oh, I'm just terrible. But the Kate D mat slows the material down so quick to catch that fine stuff. We see it go over the micro mat real fast, and it hits the Kate D and slows down and goes over to mini fast. And I felt that the speed of the material going through there wasn't balanced right, even though it kind of change up is good though. And the people love the change up. I was kind of thinking it needed to be more balanced. And what we're seeing is with the micro dredge and the mini dredge and this new combo coming up, we're going to be able to run, I think, a lot more material in that micro dredge. It's going to be like, you'll hear that sound of that music coming in out of the clouds in the background. And I'm telling you,
the old Halo music.
I went and tested mats. I went and tested mats at the creek because I have to touch them, run them, and work with them. And I usually take somebody that's never ran it so I can see how they do it wrong, because I want to see what the mat does. And we're out testing mats this in the creek, and I was excited. And it's like, here I make the product, and I'm out there and I'm excited. They're like, you're excited. I'm like, oh man, this thing rocks, man. I'm like, it's so nice when it's just like, I hate to say it, but I've done it before. I've been mechanical designing and engineering most of my career. When you build something that doesn't work, it really sucks. And then you start over. It sucks. And then also you get the chain of shame, and they make you wear it around your neck and remind you that you did it wrong. And even in carpentry, you guys know I go framing with my brothers, and so I'm the architect guy, and I'm doing the work, the plans. And I go out and help them, and I go out on the job site with them, and I go, what can I do? Oh, you can do this. So I go over and I'm doing my thing, and I'm thinking
they give you the play school hammer.
I'm thinking I'm a stud. I'm out there doing the contracting work. But I used to build log homes, peel logs, run chainsaws. I could do it all. I'm doing all dolly. I'm teasing, but I'm out there swinging a hammer. And my brother Brian would come over to me about every 15 minutes just for fun. He'd look at me and goes, "You just look at me." And I go, "What?" And I'm looking like, "What? What?" And he goes, "You're doing it wrong." And he just walk off. He just did that just to mess with me. But you know what? I was doing it wrong. Because all these framers got all this knowledge and they know how to do it. And I'm just, the only time that you learn something is when you do it, the application, and you get out there and you run the material, put the time on the crick, you put the time in the product. You can't work in a vacuum. You can't work behind a computer. You got to get out there in the field. You got to make time to test your product and work it and go out with work with others. That's why I love going to the LDMA outings, because I get all these people. They're like, come help me. It isn't working. Yeah. And I love doing that because I want to see, like, good Lord, what could it be? But I got to think, okay, keep an open mind. And then I see where it really works well, where it doesn't work well, where it's in between. And I got to be honest with these people, because you can't just give them a sales pitch. If it isn't working, it's got to work, and then so you got to figure out.
Well, that's the crazy thing about you too, Dave, is you're a double-edged sword. On one side, you have a product that you want to make sure works as efficient as possible. And on the other side, you want to make sure that person is happy with how it's operating in their high banker or in their river sloughs. So on one side of the fence,
we're still the only guys. 100% money back.
That's what's crazy though, is you run this double-edged sword, and it's like, I can only imagine you being the R&D, the research and development, and the guy that wants to get out on the creek and see how it goes. You know what I mean? Being able to balance that and have like this neutral feeling on it, and pulling yourself back from being the owner.
This year's been a stretch, and the only reason it's worked for us this year is those employees we talked about, because we can't carry that weight. Me and Tim can't carry that on our shoulders, so it's freed us up. But even in the frees up, it's freed us up And so what do we do with this freedom? Do we go out and do all the right things? No, we go out and get ourselves in more trouble. We go testing with Juan. We go to Africa, you know, and we go up to Canada. And now we're going to be doing all this more of this other stuff in these other countries. And we're getting ready to do some stuff down South America. And we go out and get in trouble. And now we're like, well, you know, it'd be just nicer if I could just
see, the funny thing
the
is
creek down the street, you know, the creek, drive an hour, go to the creek and enjoy my life.
The funny thing is with prospectors, and miners, and I know every single one of you can agree to this. We get to a point in our life where we're like, okay, you know what? I'm pretty bored. Let's go ahead and throw this on our plate, this on our plate, this on our plate, this. And then we get to a point where our plate is so damn full where we're like, okay, well, now I don't really know what to do because we have so much on our plate.
We're doing better this year with that.
But I don't know.
We'll have those issues. You're right. I still got to go test 2 new products. In
you consistently
in the January
are doing this thing.
Yep. And I got all this stuff I'm behind on. Yep. But I've actually, I'm happy because I actually delivered on some promises this year, and not all of them on time, but some of them I have, and so that makes me feel good. As far as product, as far as and we actually even had some how can I say it, accidental windfalls that just, you know, it's like
happen.
We'll take it. You know, it's like someone shows it to us. It's like, okay, we want 10 of those. You know, anyways, so we've had some good windfalls, you know.
Yeah. We have a crap load more questions to run through.
Good. That's good.
And I just want to pick the hell out of your brain, Dave. I haven't actually seen you face to face like this in a couple of years, so I just want to pick the crap out of your brain right now. So we got Mr. PA Patriots prospecting. Go for it, Daryl.
Oh, I was going to see if he had any secret mats in the mat cave coming around.
I let it out. It was the beach mat, which is the micro dredge, mini dredge that's coming out. I let that out of the bag just a second ago. In the combo mat, which is going to be the 2nd gen micro dredge, mini dredge, which will come out in the spring. And actually, you know, just tell you the truth is that our products are customer driven. We don't. I wish I could. I wish I had a crystal ball. You know, the ball.
He says this every podcast.
I know, and I can guess what it is.
Someone give them a crystal ball, will you? Just send it
with
to
the unicorn in it. With the unicorn in it. Yep. So, but the customers are forcing us to do things. Just like they put our arms behind our kids and they're like, do it. And I'm like, Uncle. We got the beach mats are coming out, and I didn't think they'd come out this spring. Well, why do you think they're coming out? Because we got a bunch of people in South America that want them, and they're buying them, and they're like, take my money or I'm going to be mad, you know, and I need this product to solve this problem. They've done testing, you know, and they want to do more testing behind, you know, and so we're you know, so we got people that want it in South America and a new customer that wants to try it. And so, they're like, so it's customer driven, and that's always exciting when you see it. And also Nome, I'm hoping to, not saying it's going to happen, but I'm trying to work a little magic there. I want to get back there this next season. Me and Tim are looking at our travel schedule. We're going,
this time I'm coming with. I know I was off the seat last time.
Tim's like, I tell him I want to go back up to Nome. Tim's all like, well, let's just calm down here. We got other schedules we're going to. We got to talk about this.
I'm coming this year if you guys go. I'm coming. I already told my wife. It's happening.
So hopefully I'll be up in Nome testing some beach mats. That's the hope. If our schedule looks up to it, I have a camp that uses our mats up in Alaska. For 2 years, he's been asking me to come up. In 2 years, I've been in Alaska and I haven't been there. So I'm thinking next season I'm going to be up there. So I'm trying to do 2 places in Alaska this year, but it'll have to be one trip. But you know, it's okay if I get lost in Alaska. You know, it ain't going to hurt nobody, is it?
No, I mean,
even if I'm out of cell range, it'll be okay, right?
If you got Starlink, sure.
Freaking Starlink!
All right, back to the questions here. Let's see. Let me try to scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Depends on what you're using. I ran my keychain high banker for 6 hours and never lost any. That's actually badass.
So we had a keychain high banker. I make these little coulter, and if someone screws off and says on the internet, just joking, we should make a high banker for that. Then Coulter goes and makes one for a toy. And it's supposed to be a spoof. And he puts the video out as a spoof to say, haha, and just have fun. And then all the responses come in. And we're like, Coulter, how many of those can you make? And he goes, make? What do you mean? It was a joke. I go, Coulter, you need to make some of those. Some people want them. Well, how many do you need?
Oh,
gosh.
gosh.
How about we start with like 500? And he
goes,
what?
He's
like, what? And then, you know what? This is here's the Christmas story. So, or was it Christmas? It was a birthday. They were visiting their kids in Canada on being their Canadian Thanksgiving, and then of course trying to give out birthday presents for kids they haven't seen in a long time. So the people are visiting up there, and he's up there and he orders on the internet, and he buys all these keychain sluices, and he's like, "How fast can you get them here?" And we're like, what do you mean? We're just gonna send them up there, normal post. It'll take Canada. Usually takes about, a week, a little longer than a week. He goes, I need them like 2 days. We're like, you're like gonna pay 2 days shipping on a bunch of keychain sluices, or like 12 of them. He goes, for my grandkids, I don't care how much it costs. This guy pays like 2 days shipping to get all these keychain sluices up to Canada for his kids.
That's badass.
While he's up there, and we're looking at the shipping bill, and we're like going, is it really that fun? He goes, it's that fun. And I'm like going, oh my gosh, it's like I feel like I'm a toy maker now. I'm not Santa Claus, but working on the figure, like growing the beard.
He says I'm a toy maker now.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Get out of here.
It felt so cool that these people they enjoy it that much. It's that fun that they're willing to pay that. It just blows my mind.
No, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. For everybody watching right now, if you haven't already, drop a follow on the PB page. Drop a love or a like. I mean, we got a lot more podcasts coming. We got a lot of different interviews. We got a ton of absolutely amazing people like Dave himself. So just make sure you get that rocking and rolling. We have just a couple more questions we're going to get through, and then we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we're going to get to some more awesome announcements and things like that. Let's see here. Christopher says, I love the combo mat because of the different configurations. It was genius. Let's see. AAA Rockhound says, right, my Sluice I1 has combo mat. He also says, Micro, I agree on that. Mr. Ed Marvin from Ed in the Shed. What's up, brother, man? Good to see you on the podcast tonight, man. Finally made it back into the old cave here and fired up the old podcast. So appreciate you being here, brother, man. Let's see here. Tim says the micro mat and the micro dredge mat in combination in a gutter sluice. I literally just got done with its first test run. Crazy coincidence. That's badass. The amount of different that's the cool thing with prospectors is if we find anything that you could fit a mat in, guess what? That mat's going in and it's going to catch some gold. And I've seen a lot of those posts in prospecting, buddy. It's crazy the amount of like weird configurations people put together. Like I saw a cat litter.
My favorites are where they lay the mats in the creek and put rocks on the sides and they just run the dirt over the mats.
Just the mats. Okay. I saw one where a guy had taken a cat litter. The
cat litter box high baker hopper is absolutely the top of the food chain. You can't get any higher.
I am still blown away.
Cat yellow high baker hopper.
Yep, you saw that. Yep. Okay, enough said. Bam. That's hilarious.
I've got an aluminum cat box. I've been waiting to try to figure out how to make a hopper for a hand feed pumpless system.
That is funny.
I think it'd work well.
You know, it'd be better is if you had one of those little charm bracelets that you got from the cat, the cat litter box, while you're wearing that while you were running it. I'm just teasing. Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I thought it was funny.
Paul said,
I don't want any of the charm bracelets from the cat litter box. I'll pass on that.
Oh, okay. Back on
what
subject.
Kind of cat you got?
Paul says, my grandma would buy this cat litter that you could send away for little charms to make a bracelet. And she had this bracelet from every one of them from this cat litter company. So I'm sorry,
She probably had like 5 or 6 of them.
So that's what I'm referring to, that crazy cat people out prospecting with their cat litter box, high baker
I wonder
offers.
who that marketing guy was for the cat litter company. I mean, here, let's give out bracelets.
That was genius.
For cat
That was
litter?
genius. Cat ladies would wear those bracelets like you wouldn't believe. Those things were like their
what I'm
favorite
talking about.
thing
You've
to
been
put
in
on.
their
Oh,
house.
yeah.
You know what type of person I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You got
Yep.
it. You got it.
Cat ladies, gotta love them. Paul said, "Oh, geez, Dave, you're killing me." Anyways, Paul says, "Want to give you a big shout out for the fast shipping when I hosted the West Coast outing for Prospecting Buddy last year. The kids that showed up loved the pocket sluices. Pocket sluices. That's awesome. Yeah,
There's any youth people going on, and we all know how. I'm gonna interrupt you. Sorry, Jaron.
Yeah, you're good.
You're good. We all know how hard it is to set up youth stuff, especially this day and age when the kids just don't got the attention. And you get a group of kids. By the time you get them there, what it costs to get the parents there, their gas, or they need to get supplies or buy stuff and all that stuff, it just it spirals out of control. And you're out there and you're trying to do a group outing thing, and you guys need some pocket sluices or some venture sluices. We got seconds. We will set you up because we know how awesome it is when you can get some stuff out there where the kids are playing with it and they love it, they enjoy it, they can take it home, and it keeps their attention. The parents, people appreciate the people working with the kids. Appreciate it when they have something that the kids can have fun with, and the parents love it too. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have supported we did an event back east. We did a gem show. You guys have supported us with all of that, with those pocket
I was in the
sluices.
Scouts when I was younger, and I was also did some stuff with we had like a scouting group for our youth when I was younger, where we were helping with some other youth groups and stuff like that. And I was never like the person leading the events and stuff like that, but it's amazing how much work goes into them and how much gear they got to buy and all this stuff. And they feel bad when they're like, well, we got to send out this form to the parents, and they got to, every parent needs to pitch in like $10. And it's like the parents look at it, and they're always doing all this stuff. Just more money for more stuff to the kids. And if you can help cut that and get it to where they can get out, they can have fun, they can do stuff. And what's cool is then the kids, we call this the trap now. Now we're going to go to the evil side of it. It's the trap. The kids have these prospecting stuff, and they go out with their parents. And I get these calls from these parents, and they're going, my daughter's got this little pocket sluice, and it's just killing it. Do you got a bigger one? And it's just like, and then you get the call, and it's like, and you almost want to tease the people, but you don't want to, because you want to be a good company guy and sell them something. Say, sure, we have a bigger one. How can I help you, sir? But I want to say, the smart aleck person wants to say, so your daughter's spanking you with the little pocket sluice, huh?
Gold in your mouth.
Because I'm one of those guys on the creek. When I go out with people, it's like my mouth gets me into trouble. I like having fun, and I think all my jokes are funny. Most people don't. But anyways, and we have a good time. And I got 3 older brothers, and so everything's a contest. Like getting out of the truck, going down to the creek, getting back up to the truck. Everything's a contest, And so I live in that kind of mentality sometimes a little too much. But that's how I've learned to have fun. Is you kind of get people going, and it's pretty funny every once in a while you hook up with a group of people and you're out there and then they're trying to get one over on you, and they do, and it's a hoot. I'm telling you,
that's my 13-year-old daughter every day of my life, Dave. Every day of my life. I'm a 33-year-old man. I've been through a lot, and my 13-year-old daughter, it's every day. How can I get one up on dad? Every day. It doesn't matter what it is, whether I put some bread in a toaster and she toasted the bread better than I toasted the bread. She will make it known to me, nobody else in the house, that she has better bread than me.
Yep. Yeah, me and the boy, we have fun when we go out on our little adventures and we goof off and get pretty crazy. I enjoy it.
But like I was saying, it's absolutely awesome that you're able to support the youth like that. I mean, with all of the stuff that PB in general has done in the last 4 years, The second, any one of the PB guys like Rob, Tina, Don, myself, Arrow, we reach out to you. We're like, hey, Paul, we do, hey, is there any way? And you're no problem. Boom, it's on the way. Like, and being able to do that as a company, you should pat yourself on the back for that. And I'm not even kind of buttering the toast. Like, I'm being honest. Like, if I had that opportunity to be able to, someone reach out to me and I'm like, hey, you know what? My product's going to be able to help them out in this kind of way and create bonding time between the kids and the parents.
It's no fun if you do it alone. It's no fun if you do it alone. And it's no fun if you don't got no one to share it with. A lot of people say like, hey, Dave, you kind of get really excited about this. And I go, yeah, because you're here and I get to share it with you. Because what do I go home and talk to myself in the mirror? I go, our experiences in life, we get to share with people. And I'm at the age now where I'm starting to really understand and respect all my older generation. The ones that when I couldn't understand why they were grumpy, and we know why. It's because they're old and they got lots of stuff wrong with them, so it's hard to be happy. So and now I'm starting to see them pass on. But my Uncle Dave, who passed away from cancer, who helped me with the Dream Mat, and all these are all these people that I've been lucky enough to have in our family that have worked in law enforcement and in the military, and then you don't realize how hard it was for them when I was a young buck in my 20s, for them to come out and pass it on to us, whether it be hunting or whatever
it was,
whatnot. And then now I'm getting to the age now where I respect and understand that, and so it's kind of like both ways. I've been able, when I was younger, when I was able-bodied and the kids didn't tear me up as much, I was able to go out there and help the kids. Now I'm to the point where I can pass some stuff off to them, but then now it's like the vets and first responders and people that, with disabilities, in understanding that. And I have had enough. I don't say this in a bad way, and I'm not saying this in a judgmental way either. I can see it, and I don't know where my life has taken me in my older days, but when you get a disability, it's financially, there's a hardship. When you're disabled, it is. And sometimes and those first responders and sometimes these police officers, they sacrifice a lot, and in their later years they're not quite what they used to be, because of stress and other things. And so paying it back is one thing, paying it forward is at the other. And man, I tell you what, me and my brother Tim, all my brothers have served. I'm the only one that didn't. And my stepdad and my real dad were served. And then you get these testimonials from these the vets, because we get seconds. If you're a vet and you're really don't be embarrassed. If you're on a fixed income or something, we got seconds, and we usually hold on to them. And people call us and get a hold of us, or they'll email us and ask us, and we'll take care of you. And I'm not trying to make it sound like I don't have an endless supply, but I'm just saying we try to make it work. We've had vets that have emailed us and called us, and the things they say to us will jerk your heart. And as you realize that when I would help my uncle, when I took him prospecting for the first time, I had to walk him down the trail with his cane, because he's first bout with cancer. And he was also disabled vet already from Vietnam. His knees are really bad. And set his medical chair out in the creek, walk him to it so he wouldn't slip, set him down there so he could be out in the sun, enjoy himself. And I'd set the screen bucket next to him so he could scoop into it and feed the sluice. That was his prospecting. And he loved it. And if I wouldn't have took him, he couldn't have got there to do it. And so you understand, and you start to realize that, and of course now I'm getting older. I'm not saying my crap's falling off, but you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
You never know what the future is going to bring, especially as you get older.
And then you realize that, and then they're gone, and then you realize I should have been out there with them more.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I have no regrets there, but except for, maybe I should have been out there more, but time will tell. But when you realize that there are people out there that with a little bit of help, the prospecting buddy, they can do it in their RV. They don't have to get out there. Someone can bring the dirt to them. A lot of people say a lot of stuff we build are just toys. They're not for the serious prospector. It's like, yeah, whatever. when we made the prospecting buddy, I wanted it for one reason. Another person wanted it for another reason. Another person saw something else. Right. So we had three people seeing three different things. One over here was, hey, we're going to reach the kids. One people over here, hey, we're going to reach, a good price market in the market. I said, we're going to reach the gals and the guys whose wrists can't pan no more.
Right.
And they're like, what are you talking about, Dave? I go, man, I go out with these people and we go out to these outings and you sit down and you watch the young people tear it up and you see the old people take a break and they're embarrassed. They don't want to say, my wrists hurt. I don't want to pan no more. But you know why. And you're watching them too. And some people are losing their motor skills. Is there anything wrong with that? No, there isn't. So what it is, is there anything wrong with designing something that helps them have more fun and put just as much dirt or more than the other guy into the thing? And we were having panning races with the cleanup buddy and a person who could pan. And the cleanup buddy wasn't like blowing away the fastest panner. Of course, they're awesome. Right. They're the fastest panner. They get it done.
Right. I learned
sure was getting close with little or no effort.
I learned that
about, you know.
I learned this same exact thing when I went to a GPA LDMA outing, and this was 4 years ago. I'll never forget this until the day I die, and I'm not kidding you. I ended up signing up for it was a dig over in Durkee, Oregon. It was on LDMA claim, but it was through GPA, and I think I paid $55 to stay for Durkee, Oregon. Right around Durkee.
I haven't been to that one. I've been to Burnt River, and
it was right around Durkee, Oregon. If anybody watching, the LDMA claim right over there in Durkee. But anyways, it was my first time ever going to something like this, and I just said, "The hell with it! It's 6 hours away. I'm going to go down there, see what happens." I took a friend of mine that had never been gold prospecting in his life. We went down there. The first day, Dominic was telling me, hey, this is how it runs. This is how we do it. This is the schedule. And I, young buck myself and my buddy Darren, he does concrete. He was a young buck himself at the time, and he's still a badass. But we were like, yeah, we'll be up in the morning. We'll get over to it was a big pond with a bunch of high bankers all the way around it. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget this. And me and him the first day, we probably ran at least 2 yards with shovels. 2 yards, just shovels. All morning, all the way until lunchtime, took a lunch. And we went back to my truck. I had a little tent set up in the back of my truck. And we had this old couple, this lady and this man came over to us at the truck. And the guy was like, he basically was telling me, he's like, hey, you don't have to work that hard. We all work as a team collectively. At the end of the day, it'll all be taken care of, Dominic and the gold, portions passed out and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah, I won't work as hard the second day. So the second day we didn't work as hard. We kind of were, bullshitting, putting shovels in the high banker, and that night we were sitting there at the tent and we were drinking a few beers, and the old man came back over to us and he goes, well, don't mind what my wife said. If you can get a lot more done tomorrow, we'll probably get more gold at the end. And so I got to thinking, I'm like, okay, it's kind of, this is my first time. I've never, so anyways, so the third day comes around and we go back out there to the pond where all the high bankers are and stuff. And his wife comes up to us and she goes, well, I just want to let you guys know that we're over there scrubbing rocks to make sure all the fine gold gets off of it. So if you could just run a little bit more dirt, that would be great. And so what that honestly made me realize is every single person in that whole entire process, whether old or young, was enjoying themselves and genuinely doing anything and everything they could.
Interesting. Yep. Because everybody's
they all,
place. Yep.
Yeah, they all, Dominic had brushes for rocks, with a tub for them, so just to be able to see that as a young version of myself back then was like, it's amazing that these old timers care to drive 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours away from wherever they live to come out here on this campsite and just do this and be happy doing that. It's one thing to run a high banker. It's one thing to run a river sluice, but to take time out of your entire life, being retired or not being retired, to come to a place where you get a brush and a tub of water and you get past rocks to scrub to get the gold off, and you're happy, like you're enjoying yourself with your other half. That right there in itself is what showed me a whole different aspect to the gold prospecting world, the gold mining world, just people in general aside. Like, it just showed me a whole different love for what we all do. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget that. I took a couple of pictures with them. I still have them on my old phone. I'll never forget that. That touched my heart like crazy. The fact that the husband took his time out to walk over to our little tent and, well, is there any way you could kind of dig a little bit more tomorrow? We might get more gold. It was an exciting thing. It was absolutely exciting.
Yeah,
So,
if we could only harness all the teenagers' energy and make them do all the work, and so we can sit back and enjoy it, would be awesome. But that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm gonna run through real quick. We're actually doing pretty good for the podcast, and I typically knew that the podcast was going to run long. We always have a ton of fun with it. So I'm going to run through some comments real quick. We'll take our quick 5-minute break and then jump back in, discuss the announcements and things like that, and then we're all going to get our asses to bed. So let's see here. Okay, Dream Map for the win, Mr. Ken Elliott. We got Jason. Getting the next generation involved is always awesome. Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. Krista says my phone died, and then Jason says, Krista Latassa, mine almost did too. I grabbed a cord fast. Well, I appreciate you guys staying on the podcast. Absolute love. Nothing but love.
Good night there, Ed. Have a good one.
Ed's
saying good night.
Ed Marvin, Ed, you have a good night, brother man.
Yep.
It was I'm pretty happy that you're able to
There'll be
jump
a
on the
test
podcast.
in the morning, Ed.
Yes. Get your butt to sleep. Christopher Lee McQuilkin says, I think it was impressive to get Juan on board for Dream Mat. Him and Freddie Dodge are very serious with their setup. After seeing Juan interested with Dream Mat, it was impressive. I hope Freddie Dodge approves. Let's see here. He says, AAA Rockhound says, your beard says a lot. You have been through a lot. Well, considering I'm the only one with the beard, I'd imagine you're talking to me. So, yes, I have been through a decent amount.
There's hair. I got some hair.
He's got peach fuzz. Don't listen to him. He's got peach fuzz. Flash in your pan. Mr. Ed Marvin says, I know Dave has been a great friend to me, the community, and my channel. Let's see. Just go to swimming hole, start panning. Tina says, I just go to the park swimming hole in the summer and start panning. I take small pans and snuffer bottles. I teach the young ones to pan. I let them keep the pan, snuffer bottle, and they love taking home the gold. Absolutely awesome. All right, let's see. So Ed said, I have to wake up early. Good night, David, Jaron, and Arrow, and thank you, David, for all you do, my friend. Have a good night, brother, man. Let's see. Jason Rowe says, in spring, we're doing a dredge event. Chris says, my stomping grounds, the Burnt River. We got 7 claims out there for sale right now, but me up anybody that's interested. The claims are for sale. So reach out to Chris. I'm sure he could probably hook you up with a good deal, especially if you mention PB or Dave. Let's see here. Krista says, will you be at the Quartzsite Arizona Gold Show for 2026?
I think we're trying. Bob may be there. Bob Back and Dino Werner. He's with Mayhem Mining. He's one of my distributors from Wisconsin. He may be there because he spends now his time in Arizona. And there could be Coulter could be there, who prints our stuff. But I don't think me and Tim are going to be there this year because we got some other spring trips we got to go to that are he's going to Germany and I'm going someplace else. And I'll be in Arizona and then back again before that one happens, doing some testing. So I think we're going to be a little stretched for traveling, but maybe could happen. Who knows?
Well, you just don't want to come see us. That's fine.
No, we do. I'll be down there in the spring.
I was going to say, I know you're coming to the Kootenai County Fairgrounds. I know that, right?
Yeah.
Dave?
We that's so we're getting start. We're trying to get distributors that are dream mat distributors to show up to some of these shows that just take it too far for us to get to, and almost make it like if you did do that, it would be easier for me, and we would ship you stuff and get it there earlier, inventory, then I could maybe come out just myself and not take as much time. And
People like to see your face, Dave. Quit
that's what I
making
mean.
excuses.
I can come out myself while they run. See, I don't have to be. This is my attitude. I don't have to be the guy with the booth making the money and just.
Yes,
selling
you
the product.
do.
No, I'm just teasing. The distributors can be selling the product, and I can talk to people. I could come to some shows. If
They'll
some
have a little
people are
TV
willing to
screen
put
like
on a
this
show.
big
Yeah.
that they can click a button that goes straight to Dave, and it's live on the screen at the show, right?
We know
He's
what
like, no, Jaron, shut up.
filters on there and stuff like that. I wouldn't see. I can see it already. This would be just like
Oh,
a
geez.
show.
Oh,
Anyways,
Jason.
So, but we know
Jason's-
we're gonna do, the Kootenai Fairgrounds, and we're probably
Yep.
gonna do Monroe. So we'll
Yep.
be doing that. And then, as far as the other shows go, we got to really look at me and Tim are just trying to look at our travel schedule because we're gonna be doing some more. Tim's gonna be doing some more mining conferences that aren't really gold shows, and we're setting up for some of
Right.
those. So we gotta see what's going on. Yeah.
All right, so we got a few more to get through real quick. Mr. Christopher says they care for the next generation just like we need to care for this next new young generation. It's crucial and super important. Beautiful story, brother.
Thank you.
Let's see. Really, Michael Crawford says, Jaron, did you forget what a razor is? So I started the No Shave November. We're into December, and I don't really give a rat's butt now until spring. So yes, I forgot what a razor is. Let's see here. Cliff Summers says only 11 p.m. here. Even better. That means you're still logged in, you're kicking butt and watching the podcast. Let's see. Richard with a decent question. Any thoughts on the nugget bucket? Any good? I'll start. I have no clue. I haven't purchased the nugget bucket. I got myself customized, made stuff super cheap from a really good friend. That actually is extremely well faceted with making that kind of stuff, and I've kind of kept my same equipment. I've tried all of Dave's mats from the very beginning.
GPAA supports and sells the nugget bucket.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's good. I just haven't
reviews.
I haven't tried it.
I've been on digs where people are using them. They're not complaining.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I haven't tried it, so I can't give my honest review on it.
I haven't tried it. I've seen people using it though.
Errol, what about you? Have you tried the nugget bucket?
No, I've never tried the nugget bucket. I had a buddy who had one, and he liked it a lot, but he worked really hard, and after a few trips, it started falling apart.
So that is.
You can't hear me, can you?
No,
we can hear you. You're just moving slow. It's like a foreign movie. The lips aren't with the words.
Yeah. So okay, let's see here. We got two more, and then we're gonna take a quick break.
To Kung Fu.
David did see you at the WPMA Gold Show in different building. I actually missed that one last year, and I'm pissed off that I missed it. I will not miss it this year for sure.
We got registered late to that one. Bob went to that one where they had two different buildings. They were in the wrong building. Things got crossed. We had a distributor that was there, Holden Treasure, or I forget Chris Holden was there.
Yeah, I missed that.
And we actually had talked like months before about preparing for that show, and then it went silent. And the day the show showed up, and so we missed some communication and getting some product to them. That show kind of got a little messed up, and it happens sometimes. We were busy. Everybody's always busy, but you know what I'm saying. We will try and do better next year.
Yeah, I was supposed to actually go to that one myself, and totally spaced figuring out vacation time for it. So it was kind of a nightmare, and it didn't work. But this year, like I said, we're going to be rocking and rolling. One last one here from Joe Van Buren. He says, "Hey Dave, do I need to wash my dredge mat before I use it?"
I've never washed a dredge mat. I know people that wash all their mats, and some of the smaller profile mats, of course, I would just scrub them with a little bit of Dawn, bring up some surface tension. Our mold release is water soluble, so it'll eventually break down. And so whatever that little film is on there, yeah. So I would say run it, let the dirt do its job. on the smaller profiles, just because stuff can kind of stick to it. And if it got hard in the sun, you would then have to scrub it. So I'd say just wash it pre-hand before,
Perfect. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. It'll actually be like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I kind of screwed up on the commercial and the pause. But I would love for you guys to stick around, because I promise you the announcements for the Christmas giveaway next week is going to be absolutely insane. I'm actually going to be announcing a couple of the prizes that we will have for the Christmas giveaway. And then on top of that, we do have 2 more announcements just from PB directly. That's going to be absolutely mind-blowing. It's going to totally shake up the social media world, and I promise you it's going to be something that gets everybody connected a lot more than what we usually have just on Facebook alone. So it's going to be absolutely awesome. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a quick break. I know I've had a ton of comments that are like, hey, I need a pee. I need a pee too. So I totally understand. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Look at Dave. Dave's like, oh, I'm good. No, you're not, Dave.
Well, I'm going to go pee. I agree.
Okay, perfect. That's what I thought. All right, so with that being said, and without further ado, let's go ahead and take a break real quick, and then we'll be right back with some absolutely amazing announcements. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. See you guys in a few.
Out where the rivers run beneath the endless sky, with a pack on my back and dreams that never die, chasing shadows of gold in the mountains so steep, a heart full of fire, a promise I'll keep. We're digging for a fortune, let the adventure unfold. With a swing of our picks, we're striking it bold. Laughter in the air, we're wild and we're free, chasing all our dreams where the treasure will be. Down in the canyon, the sun beating down. With each step we take, we're shaking this ground. The laughter's our currency, the grit in our hands. In this wild, rugged land, we're remaking our stands. We're digging for a fortune, let the adventure unfold. With a swing of our picks, we're striking it bold. Laughter in the air, we're wild and we're free, chasing all our dreams where the treasure will be. Hear that clink of the picks echoes through the night. With a spirit of gold, we're ready to fight. The thrill of the hunt with every heartbeat. No map to our dreams, but we'll never retreat. We're digging for a fortune, let the adventure unfold. With a swing of our picks, we're striking it bold. Laughter in the air, we're wild and we're free, chasing all our dreams where the treasure will be.
All right, we are back in the building, ready to rock and roll on the second half of the podcast. Appreciate you guys sitting around, waiting for a bunch of us to get back and talk about a bunch of other fun stuff. First and foremost, I want to announce, like I was saying earlier, the Christmas giveaway next week. While I was behind the scenes getting things taken care of with my kinfolk, Mr. Rob McGuire, shout out to Rob and the rest of the PB team, was behind the scenes making everything basically crystal clear and situated for the for next week's giveaway. Excuse me, I was just eating some food. My mind's like, eat the rest of it. But yeah, they were taking care of it, completely reaching out to folks in the community, trying to get things kind of situated for the giveaway next week. And I kind of got the back end of it, trying to piece together everything that was going on with that. But I ended up getting it all situated. And next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, it's going to be a ton of fun. Christmas giveaway. I know some of you folks have probably been on some of our Christmas giveaways. We give away a ton of stuff. And we just like to have a ton of fun right before Christmas. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what Christmas is all about, is about giving. It's not about receiving. And within the PV family, you guys have seen all of our giveaways. We have a crap load of fun, tons of laughter. I mean, it's just fun. So if you didn't know, now you know. Next Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The second thing I will say is Facebook restricted any going live in the groups. So we created the page, the Prospecting Buddy page. And the reason why we did that is for us to be able to go live on Facebook still, because I know a lot of you folks don't like jumping over on YouTube or any other platforms or downloading anything. You just want to be able to jump on Facebook within Prospecting Buddy and be able to jump on those lives. And
restricted group thing. When did that happen?
So that actually happened about a year and a half ago.
What?
So we did the Todd Hoffman podcast, but right before the Todd Hoffman podcast, I'd say probably about 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior to that, Don went.
You can still do a live post. You just can't do a podcast, probably, huh? Right?
Well, a live video. You can't do any live.
Yeah, you can do the go live Facebook thing.
Yep, you can't go live in the groups anymore. It's strictly by page or by personal Facebook account.
I know what you're saying now. Okay.
Yep. So what we ended up doing was creating a Prospecting Buddy page on Facebook. That way we can still go live for the folks that, like I said, doesn't want to jump on YouTube or any other platforms or anything like that. They just want to jump on there, see what's going on. You know, it's the one app they have downloaded to get to the rest of the world, I guess. I don't know. But we created the page. So if you guys aren't part of the Prospecting Buddy page, please make sure that you follow the Prospecting Buddy page, because if not, I really don't want you to miss out on the Christmas giveaway. It's going to be a ton of fun. Dave donated, as he always does. Absolutely amazing. We have quite a few folks that actually donated. Armadillo Mining over there in Oregon, they donated some hats, some mugs, a few other things like that. Geosluice donated. They did. I don't know 100% what they're called. I apologize, but Geosluice ended up donating Mr. Brad Martinez.
I think it's a 6-inch long, Tom.
There you go. Yeah, and they're absolutely awesome products. He ended up donating a blue one and a green one. Shout out to Brad. Absolutely awesome. We also have a few other items that we're going to be donating as well. A pay dirt bag from Mama Tina herself. We got a snuffer bottle holder that's going to be genuine leather. Just a bunch of cool prizes. A ton of fun. So if you miss it, that's on you. It's not on me. It's not on anybody else in the TV family. If you miss it, you were sleeping. Another announcement. Hey, I got to be brutally blunt these days, right? 2025, right? Another announcement, prospectingbuddy.org. It's going to be live and well here shortly. We're going to be doing a lot of changes within the website. It's going to be extremely interactive. It's going to connect a lot of users outside of Facebook. The folks that despise Facebook The website's just going to be absolutely awesome. It's not going to be the way it was. It's going to be a little different. As far as the sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, things like that, that all will be available once the website goes live. For right now, the website's not live. It's not going to be live until the new year. But when it does go live, it's going to be absolutely bad to the bone. I know I still owe Dave and Tim a PB sweatshirt, so I'm going to get those sent over to them come the new year. But it's going to be a ton of fun. The website's going to
I took care of that.
I don't know. I think you said you were going to, and I think the ones that you sent over.
No, same time I got the high banker with the silver.
I think is what happened with the prospecting buddy one is Tim and my wife has got the one you give me because it fits her, and Tim's got one in the big guy who's twice as mad as most people doesn't got the elephant blanket.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you over 2 XXLs, and they should fit you perfect. They're nice and cozy and comfy. Did your wife like the sweatshirt though? Is it pretty nice?
Oh yeah, now she likes it.
Good.
Oh, it always happens. You know, people give me an extra large, and I take it home, and the wife goes, "Oh, more pajamas."
Yeah, same here. I need a XXL for anybody that wants to send me something. XXL. But anyways, www.prospectingbuddy.org. It's going to be a ton of fun. Like I said, it's going to be extremely interactive. It'll have the live links on there as well. It'll have the shop. We're going to link in with Dave. We're going to get that ball rolling. It's kind of been long overdue for that. It's going to be a ton of fun. So we have the Christmas giveaway coming up this coming Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The website's going to be launching. It's going to be the same website, but extremely updated. All the pages are going to be updated. Like I said, totally interactive. That'll be New Year, probably the end of January is what I'm assuming it's going to be. And then aside from that, Dave, do you have anything else that you wanted to mention in your neck of the woods with your 2026 plans?
So you guys have probably seen the new little toy that plopped in our laps, and due to our guy who makes our 3D prints for us, he came up with this great idea to. Everybody's loving the bots and the buddy, but like every product, you're just running it in this one width, and he makes the switchback thing where you run it the 4-inch width on the top, and then you spill out onto the 6-inch width, and it goes wider and it slows down. Because he's all about, because where he's at, he's got a bunch of fine gold and heavy magnetic material. So since he's got a bunch of fine gold and heavy magnetic material, he's got a lot of competition. So it's hard for him to get his gold in just one run. And then I'm going to spoil the fun, even though it's kind of been leaked out there and it's kind of been shared. Our little Swiss Black has this little kind of cool little notch thing in the bottom. And the only reason we haven't released the little magnetic separator for it is he's got a big order of parts coming in for him to be able to do that. And he's waiting on some stuff. So we're going to be able to run our material across the top, get cream the crop of the big stuff, drop through a screen, get your big stuff off. You know, imagine a person's probably going to take just only 1/4 inch to it. And then go across the 6-inch micro mat with the finer stuff and remove the magnetics. And so now there's no heavy media competition for that fine gold. It's going to settle out, and it's going to be we've been playing with it, and I don't know if you guys caught that. You may have to want to go back and watch that video with that we
What are you eating, Dave? I'm sorry. What are you eating? Everybody wants to know what the hell you're eating right now.
I'm eating some cashews. I'm sorry. I snacked. I felt too comfortable. I felt like I was at home. I'm sorry. I'm rude. I'm sorry.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Everybody wanted to know, though, so I had to pop it.
Cashews.
You know,
yep.
She's
I
like,
saw him
he's
down
just
there, and I grabbed
smacking
the water bottle. And and here I am. I mean, usually this is my snack mode time of the day, and my clock just overtook me. What can I say?
She was like, he's just smacking away, and it looks delicious.
So when you're watching that video with Juan, you're watching Bob. He's doing a cleanup, and he takes that roly-poly and he pulls off those magnetics. So what's he doing there? What he's doing is he's got this mat with all this gold coming in, and he doesn't want the gold to migrate and skip over the iron sands. He can run it really slow and give it time for the gold to work down in. But like everybody else, time is a luxury. And we got things to do and places to go. So he scoops in some material, it settles out. He takes those magnetic sands, he pushes them down, frees up all that space, puts the next scoop in. It's like your sluice being fresh every scoop. It could be.
Oh, every single time, yeah.
And it's amazing. And it's so easy to cheese out a mat, if you're doing cleanups for small operations.
Yeah.
And so this is what we're going to be doing. Now we know prospectors. I'm sorry. I'm okay. I'll just speak for myself. I ain't got that much gold in my dirt. I wish I did, but I don't. I'd have to put the gold in there to get it. But where I go prospecting, ain't that much gold. But my gold, that's really fine, definitely isn't going to have a hard time getting into those first couple cells, that micromat, because we're going to be pulling out the magnetics. And there are people that work in areas in deserts and in beaches where it's like half the material is magnetic. So that's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
So this little guy here, this is going to be, if you were a duck hunter, you'd call this a daisy cutter. This thing is the best duck call in the blind. Everybody else could just stop blowing their calls and blow this one, because it's going to be for fine gold cleanup. It's going to blast. So we're excited. That thing fell right into our lap.
So is that magnetic separator going to be before the dirt hits the mat, or during the dirt hitting the mat?
As the dirt goes over the top of the second mat, it's going to be pulling off the magnetics. The top, we didn't want to do it on the very top. We felt that the bigger gold is easier to catch. It's not that big of a deal. And
Right.
we pass off the magnetics pretty good. But now we're going to go through a screen, and now we're going to widen out, and we're going to slow down, and we need to catch the fairy farts, the
fine,
the flea poop,
fine.
the speckles, the specks, the colors, the fairy dust. We need to catch that uber fine gold, that impossible stuff. So we need to get some of this competition out of the way. And Coulter, he's blessed with the geekness like me, but he's almost got a little worse. The guy is, I'm more of the guy who will break something and a little bit more brute force designer. Coulter is like the tinker, and he takes forever, and he thinks way too deep.
Perfecting.
And he is, and he has been working on this for a long time. And when I saw it, I was like, oh man, that's going to be awesome. And he goes, buddy, you know how long tests I ran with this thing? And I'm like, so I was pretty excited, so I have to admit, it's I don't want it to sound bad, but I like to be the guy to make things. But it's okay when other people just drop it in your hat and say, there it is, Dave, let's do this. And I'm like, you're awesome.
That's badass.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. That one there is going to be the a lot of people, I think, have fine gold are really going to enjoy this.
So when can they expect that?
The magnet, I think the magnets are going to be in about a month, but we got the units, we're selling them right now. So they'll be able to buy the magnet separate and upgrade it. And then, so about a month, I think we're going to probably start having some of these magnets start rolling in.
So Krista,
the units themselves right now. Mm-hmm.
So Krista, to answer your question, she said, I have a half pan of black sands right now, and I'm watching it, trying to figure out my next move. So Krista, if I were you, jump on Prospector's Dream, get that taken care of. Don't let it sit. Don't let it sit.
I will message you after this meeting.
Yeah.
In a meeting, I have all these e-meetings, this podcast.
So for everybody listening, this is apparently just a meeting. We're not important enough for a podcast.
No, the podcast is funner. The meetings are usually we got to work, and it sucks.
I'm just screwing with you.
I know. But anyways, after the podcast, I'll drop you a a message, and I have what I'm going to do is what I'm going to give her is I have a demo unit. We need a demo unit. Is I have one that's cracked and I fixed it, and I'll get her one to try out and see what she thinks. Yeah. She likes testing stuff. I know she does it all the time. She loves our little high baker sluices.
Yeah.
She's bought a bunch of those, sold them with some kids. She sells some little kits with sluices and stuff like that. You know, she's a great gal. She's out there having fun. And that's nice too, because I hate to say it, but having fun is fun.
Well, the thing is nowadays is the attention span between teenagers and adults have dramatically increased, about 3.5 minutes per literally anything and everything you do. And that's actually statistically proven. And that's the crazy thing is our attention span 10 years ago was 5.5 minutes. Our attention span now as teenagers, kids, and adults is about 2.5 minutes. That's the reality of it, because the way that everything as far as technology has evolved in social media is reducing our attention span. You know, you used to be able
purposely figuring out ways to hang out, even if you don't have a family, especially if you do have a family.
Yeah.
If you aren't purposely every day trying to figure out how do I set aside time to not be on my phone and do something, you're most likely in that type of atmosphere where you're spending too much time on your devices. It's you know why? Because it's fun. But, you know, we have to understand that not everything fun is healthy. That's why I eat too much and snack and chocolate and stuff like that. But, you know, those are good old-fashioned vices.
Really, Don? Don says, as adults, we have pills for longer than 2 minutes. Don, that goes across the board, though, too, right? I mean, your phone, if you had a phone from 1998, you wouldn't be on it as long as the phone that you have now that has all the extra technology. So
whatever do you mean?
To curb your 2 minute long pills, it's in the same boat. You know, when you went to start a car back then versus starting a car now, you had to prime it. You had to prime it. Yes, it had to be primed. So to get back to what we were talking about, Don, is nowadays attention span is completely different than what it used to be. And the nice thing is we're able to see a lot of individuals in the gold prospecting community be able to have an attention span outside of technology. We just got to keep it rocking like that. You know, like I was saying earlier, Dave, 2025 has been weird. It's
30-second hugs. If you know you have family, you don't hug every person in your family for 30 seconds and see what that feels like without looking at your device. Got some device issues, and I've been my teenage boys.
30 seconds.
I yell at them, get down here, you know, because they're in the loft. Get down here and I'll talk to you. It's like, why? I go, because I need a hug, man.
Yeah. Christopher says I miss the pager days.
The pager days. So you can just ignore it. This guy pays me. Who cares?
And didn't have to worry about things. Yeah, seriously. That's a crazy thing. Well, I appreciate everybody jumping on tonight. It's 8:37 in my neck of the woods. I'm sure it's a lot later all the way across the East Coast. Dave, I appreciate you, man. You don't understand how much I appreciate you. Arrow, my co-host, my right-hand man. You don't know how much
I have one question for you. I got one question.
Not for me.
Do we have any pay dirt?
Oh, for me. Yes, we do.
For you, Jaron.
Yes,
for Jaron.
Yes, we do.
We have pay dirt?
Tina has a pay dirt bag that she's going to be putting together. Yeah, Tina has a pay dirt bag she's going to be putting together. So we do have a pay dirt bag for sure for the giveaway.
All right. I have one sitting out in the garage that I bought like 3 years ago, and it was packed the year before that. And I'm assuming a gram of gold in it. I haven't opened it. It's from the Swak Mining District. But that bag is substantially worth quite a bit more now than when I bought it.
We gotta start aging pay dirt like wine. This bag was bagged in 1996.
That's true.
It's a 4-year-old bag.
Then.
Hey, you know, I mean, come on. It's more than doubled since then. So
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, Arrow, if you're more than welcome to drop that into the Christmas giveaway. I mean, I'm sure all the folks watching right now would absolutely be floored to be able to see a secondary.
Be able to figure something out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, everybody. Well, we all love you. We all appreciate you. Thank you for jumping on the podcast. For the first podcast being back, I'd say it went absolutely swell. Dave, we love you having you being on the podcast, man. I mean, it's always a fun time having you on the podcast. And
I was a little nicer to you this time.
You have been relatively nice. Yes, you have. Don was super nice to me. That was weird. So I'm sure the second and third podcast, you guys are going to be just destroying me. So for everybody watching for the second and third podcast, make sure you tune in, because if not, you're going to miss a lot of stuff where I get shit talked to me essentially from either Dave.
I put the chat box that this podcast doesn't have these little chat boxes where I can send Jaron a message while he's trying to talk. And usually what I do is I send him this little smart ass remark, pardon my French, while he's talking to make him laugh so that he would look like he doesn't even know how to compose himself. But I didn't get to do that this time. So I missed that.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm hoping that StreamYard, well, there is a private chat. He just doesn't know how to work the computer. So that's a good thing. Anyways, I appreciate you all. I hope you all have a good night. Get some sleep. Get to work tomorrow if you got to work tomorrow. Look forward to next Thursday's podcast. It's going to be the Christmas giveaway. It's going to be a shitload of fun. It's going to be a ton of fun. And I hope you all tune in. Like I said, make sure you follow the Prospecting Buddy page. We can no longer go live on the Prospecting Buddy group. So if you want to be involved in the giveaway, get on the page. If not, obviously, Don, Steven, and all the rest of the folks are going to be able to post the links that you need to the group. So without further ado, without that being said, love you guys. Dave, you have a good night. Arrow, I love you, man. I love all you guys watching. And hopefully I'll see y'all next Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Peace.